You getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rates subject to change at any time. See branch or gpofcu.com for full details.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
And tell him where to go.
And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And the payoff. There goes it. He left it as high and as far. It is gone. Number 61. He ties Roger Maris for the American League single-season record with 61 home runs. It's a 2-run Judgy and blast. Here comes the judge.
It's an incredible honor. I'm getting a chance to be associated with one of baseball's greats, be enshrined with him forever. Words can't describe it. I can't even describe it. It's incredible honor, that's for sure.
Well, it was pretty wild to see the son of Roger Maris and the mother of Aaron Judge hugging before it even left the stadium. You just knew that ball was gone.
So he ties Roger Maris.
Yeah, and the here comes the judge, all of that stuff. It's like, I guess I'm not I don't watch those games, so it's a bit foreign for me. But I was certainly watching last night.
So that was Sterling. He didn't say, his call is a Judgy and blast. All rise, here comes the judge. He skipped that part.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting. Also, lacking from that audio cut there from Aaron Judge was, any commentary about how great he is, how awesome he is, how he deserves this, how he's the best ever. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't hear any of that from Judge, but I know better, and I knew it wasn't coming.
Yeah.
Talks about how lucky he is, how blessed, how grateful.
He's just the perfect candidate here. I hope we don't later on find out that secretly he's a horrible person, because he just seems like the perfect specimen for a gigantic record like that in baseball.
From an outsider's perspective, he
yes.
just seems like a class act.
No doubt. And Christine, we're outsiders.
Right.
In this.
Right.
This is the first Yankees baseball I've seen when they weren't playing the Mets. That's kind of you have your fans that watch everything. I'm not one of those. I have specific things I watch, and I watch it every night. So I see a Mets game, good or bad, every night. Big game for the Mets This is exactly what we talked about. If the Mets could just come out of Florida with a with a split, and then to make it even better, the Braves losing, and the Mets are back to 1 game up, going into Atlanta. I don't know what that means, though.
Did you hear
by
this
the way,
contingency plan?
in terms of weather, yeah,
unbelievable.
that contingency plan could mean that the game comes down, that the division comes down to the very last, to the day after the last day.
To the day after the last day, exactly.
Wow.
So maybe a split doubleheader. Maybe they play an afternoon game on Friday.
Who knows?
But it'd be interesting, the
Well,
drama.
Christine, I got to say you are correct. I think that he just comes off as a class act. Big
It's so
Davey.
nice to see it.
It is, yeah, in this day and age where, we don't necessarily see that all that often. Davey, you have to be thrilled as a Yankees fan.
Yeah, the burden of tying Roger Maris off his shoulder. Now he can
just have fun and play and
get off the 62
and
63
beat the record.
and see how many more.
Yeah, see what he can end up with. 7 games left now? Who knows what he could do in 7 games? So that is just like I feel like that home run could very well be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Who knows what he could do now?
In Smitty, it's Roger Maris. It's not Roger Maris. It's Roger Maris.
Okay, so the Mets and Braves this weekend. Don't know what's going to happen with that. The Storm. Let's talk about it. Christine, this is those wins yesterday were gusting over 150 miles an hour. When you looked at some of the pictures that were coming, and that Jim Cantore is just unbelievable. Like I thought he was going to get killed yesterday because there was a stop sign that had turned over that looked like it was going to come back up, curl around, and whack him right in the head.
Flying through the air or floating?
There was one that went flying. A tree branch came by, but
it hit him.
It did hit him. It did. Well, I think I'm going to get over here into the safety and get in some safe area here, over here. But the stop sign had bent over, and it had the crease was right at like the base, and it was one of those old-fashioned stop signs. I say old-fashioned because it's the 90-degree angle post that has holes going through it. And I guess maybe the holes are so that the wind can blow through it. I don't know.
Right.
But you have a stop sign causing some sort of friction there. The wind had taken it right over, but it was kind of moving to the left a little bit and then moving to the right. It wasn't completely broken off. I thought it was going to curl around and hit him right in the head.
So I have many thoughts when I see Jim Cantore. I'm a huge fan.
You are.
To some extent.
I think he's my Alex Trebek.
Okay, he's a little bit of a, pardon the pun, a blowhard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I can say that, but I did.
You did.
But I have 2 things. First of all, at least the tight shirt was covered up because he's usually in these things with an extra tight shirt.
Yeah.
Secondly,
when he's not predicting the weather, he's predicting how much he can lift in the gym.
second, his HR department must just think he's a nightmare because he's constantly putting himself in all of these weird positions. But third, like Steve Irwin was so passionate about animals, and then he was eventually killed by animals.
Yeah.
I have the feeling, like every time I watch him, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this going to be the time
this might be it?
He gets slammed in the head and fatally wounded, and that's the way he's going to go out is, Jim Cantore knocked out by a hurricane. So when the tree hit him yesterday, I'm going, oh my goodness. Like, could this be the moment? No, it can't be the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a branch. I mean, it wasn't like,
Well, it knocked him to the ground.
It did knock him down? Well,
Yes.
I mean, the 150-mile-an-hour winds probably played a role.
Right.
So I wonder he didn't just keep flying. I mean, it's like, look what I can do. All these weather guys are out there doing that. I just find it so ridiculous.
We've seen videos, and you could find these on YouTube, where, like, the reporter's in front of the camera, and they're like, yeah, unbelievable flooding here in downtown, whatever city. And then you see people, the guys in the canoe doing the live shot, and people walk by him in the canoe.
There's one specific shot you're talking about that was an NBC meteorologist. And maybe she was local. I thought it was NBC, but you're looking at her. It's exactly it. And all of a sudden, the people go walking in the back. Well, I don't know why you're standing over there in the deep end. It's there's nothing over here.
Yeah.
Right.
So my
Yeah,
point being, what if we find out someday that there's a second camera shot where, there's staffers throwing tree limbs in Jim Cantori's direction? You know what I mean? They're just lobbing some branches at him.
Yes.
Look how bad it is out here. But obviously it really is bad in Florida right now. But
this one was really bad, and I guess probably maybe it's just me. I just kind of felt like this storm was one of the worst ones that I think I've ever seen. I mean, it was pretty bad. By the way, the perfect song for exactly what we're talking about when it comes to the weather is Don Henley's "Dirty Laundry." Right? It's that song that talks about quickly get the widow. You got to get the widow on camera all of that crap.
Yeah.
In this case, you got to show them out there being almost blown away. Meanwhile, people are losing their properties and their homes. A lot of people up here have whether it's a timeshare or they own property in that area. It's the area where you're told this is where you want to be, right, Christine? I mean, you being from Florida, that Naples, that west side, on the Gulf side.
Powdery sand.
You don't
no
get the beaches are beautiful. You don't have the beaches being battered with the waves. You don't get the hurricanes, and they're just getting hammered. Wow.
So what about you mentioned the song "Dirty Laundry"? I'm just curious. Not that this has anything to do with the song, but now I've got it stuck in my head. Can you get in trouble if they say evacuate and you're still in your home or something? I only ask in terms of they let the meteorologist come in for the dramatic television shot, but aren't lives at risk when he's doing that too?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's mandatory though. I mean, even though they say it's a mandatory evacuation, Christine, I mean, you would know better than me, but there are still people that wait it out, and it's their property. If they want to put themselves in danger, you're just not going to, if it gets to be that point, you're not going to get anybody that's going to be able to come in and help you.
Well, where it gets weird is that if you do need danger and you do need rescuing and you haven't evacuated, and then you put the life of a first responder at risk because you're standing on top of your home and your home is flooded or something, happens and something happens to that first responder, you are liable because of the evacuation. Has anyone ever enforced that? I don't know.
I guess that is the same type of thing that happens during a snowstorm here, where if you're in a mandatory evacuation or if you're driving down a closed road in upstate New York, I've always heard that if there's a snowstorm and the road has been closed and you drive down it anyway, your insurance might not cover if there was damage or something.
Correct.
I don't know how much of this is true. You also can't drive with flip-flops. That's against the law, but that's not true. So, right, Christine, has it been ever, have they ever prosecuted anybody? Do they actually enforce it? Who knows? We got the bubble-headed bleach blonde who comes on at 5. She can tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in her eye. It's interesting when people die. Give us dirty laundry. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what these weather guys are doing. But I'm watching. Maybe I'm like an ambulance chaser. Maybe I'm waiting for that stop sign to come whipping around and whack him in the head. But I'm watching. I think Disney must have closed yesterday, right? Obviously, that's a rare occurrence. But this storm plowed right over Orlando. Christine's talking about when he got hit by the tree branch. Here's actual audio for you.
It just came flying by. All right, you know what? I think I'm just going to come in here for a second. Jim, you all right? I'm all right. I'm fine. You just can't stand up.
I'm fine. You just can't stand up. The minute you stand up, and my muscles are protecting me. I have a chest of armor right here.
He does have good muscles. I mean, I've got to say.
I'm sure you've checked that out, Christine.
That sounded like an authentic oof, by the way. His oof in there.
Yeah.
When he got hit by the branch.
Yesterday, at the age of, I believe, 59, Coolio has, you okay there?
That was one of his songs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get your woman on the floor.
Well, that is. You're absolutely right. There you were. So you were following along with me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Sorry.
I love your moments in the 6 o'clock hour.
He's got his mojo.
Coolio was, and here's the sad part: is he was found dead on the bathroom floor of a friend's home in L.A. And he was 59 years old, best known for also Gangsta's Paradise, right?
Yeah.
It won him a Grammy in the 1995 Grammys for Best Rap Solo Performance. He also did the theme. You know what theme he did for what theme he did?
The movie. That was the song for the movie.
Keenan and Kel.
I didn't know
I don't
that.
even know what that is.
Keenan and Kel is
That was on Nick.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nickelodeon.
okay, one of those shows.
It's the All Here It Goes song.
Here's a little audio for you. Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise. Apparently, this is the karaoke bed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not the authentic.
But there's no. There's nothing.
What
else
was the
playing
name of
there.
the movie? Dangerous Minds. That's what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah,
Smitty's
David, did you
sitting there
want
rapping all morning?
Did you want to sing or rap "Gangsta's Paradise" for us?
I just know it.
You just know it.
Right.
Okay. Well, we just know we'd like you to do it. If you want to do it, you let us know, and then we'll all know it. Yeah. So he's dead at the age of 59.
The I don't remember who I heard say this before, but the Dangerous Minds movie was a very good movie. I believe it won awards, but it was the first in a series or one in a series of movies where it's the white substitute teacher who goes into the inner city school with a lot of minority students and can't, nothing's going to turn this around.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she has the stupid little interaction or,
Says something really white
right,
and unhip.
or yeah, hums part of a rap song, and then the students go, "Wow, she's not that bad." And then there's this big unification, and they have just this ungodly success that's only made for movies, of course.
We have this hour. We'll try to give you, actually, Davey, let's go with the first caller. Up and early this morning, if you'd like a pair of tickets or a four-pack. So we'll do a four-top, a table for four, for Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend. Pick your show, Friday or Saturday. There are three shows through the weekend. FatCatsComedyClub.com. Give Davey a call right now. First caller through the lines, you get a table for four at 315-736-0186. And Davey, you know what to grab in there. Jim Piccola, we're going to speak with him in a little bit. You remember Jim Piccola from the DOT, New York State Department of Transportation. He is, speaking of transportation, he's basically stranded in Florida right now and lived through the hurricane. We're going to speak with him from Florida. Cell phone coverage hopefully is going to be good for that. Rob Esch, there's a new Utica Comets jersey, and there's something special about this one.
Yes, there is. I think it's awesome.
They're using the old Utica Devils logo.
I believe it's just for this season only to celebrate the 35th year of...
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. I love that logo. I wish they'd gone with that as the main one to begin with. I love that logo.
Rob Esch will be on a little later on this morning. Jimmy Fallon will be on the radio here this morning with us. We'll catch up on everything going on out there. And also John Decker from Gray TV and a bunch more we can get into. Richard piping in this morning. You don't mention the big news. He just got missed by being hit by lightning. He just got missed being hit by lightning is what I'm supposed to say. I guess I didn't see that, Christine.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Okay. Well, Richard is saying, what's wrong with you people? It's big national news. He was almost struck by lightning yesterday. Okay, we'll look into that. I didn't know. I was just watching him being blown around yesterday.
Doesn't strike me that Richard would be sitting around watching the Weather Channel.
Come on, Richard.
It doesn't strike you?
It's 6:37.
It doesn't seem like that's what he would be doing.
Christine with a quick update on news coming right up. Stand by. We'll get right to that. Did want to tell you about lunchtime. It's always important when you first get up in the morning. You don't think about breakfast. You think about what's going to happen at lunchtime. Look no further than Hemstraat's now offering tasty, filling lunch items. The new grilled cheese oozes with a rich French cheese. It almost tastes like meat. It is so good. It's actually lactose-free for everybody to enjoy. Too good to be true, but really meant for two. Huge and delicious it is. Handcrafted ham and cheese and spinach croissants, sous vide egg sandwiches, fruit Danish, and soups are there as well. Don't think about it. Actually, do it. Come in to Hemstraat's Bakery at 900 Oswego Street, Utica. Now serving lunch 7 days a week, or you can visit them online, hemstrats.com. Davey, am I correct in saying I've heard a little rumor that you just recently enjoyed one of those delicious toasted cheese sandwiches, or grilled cheese sandwiches, I should say, at Hemstraat's? Is that true? Were you over there?
Yeah, I had grilled cheese sandwich from there the other day. It was fabulous.
Okay, there we go. There. Little testimonial from our man Davey. 6:38. Christine
it was fabulous.
Christine has news coming up next to WIBX.
Hello from Old Forge, your Adirondack backyard. The leaves are changing and fall events are happening. Macaulay Mountain Scenic Chairlift is leaf peeping central with views all the way to Lake Placid. The Adirondack Mountain Bike Festival returns to Macaulay October 1st and 2nd. Guided rides on 30 miles of trails from oh boy to uh-oh. Races, clinics, raffles, food, and live music. Come to Macaulay Mountain for fall fun. Details at oldforgeny.com.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 6:38. 47 degrees right now. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, the worst of Hurricane Ian may be over for the Orlando area. Orange County Mayor Jerry Deming said yesterday the storm's impact would start to lessen this morning. The National Weather Service is predicting 4 more inches of rain today and another inch or 2 tonight. The county had almost 100,000 power outages as of this morning. The Orlando Utilities Commission says it will resume restoring power once conditions are safe. Vice President Kamala Harris calling for the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Harris made her first visit to the Korean demilitarized zone, where she said North Korea has a brutal dictatorship. She also added North Korea has rampant human rights violations and an unlawful weapons program. Harris's trip also saw her visit Seoul during a time of tension, as North Korea may soon conduct a nuclear test. Both Harris and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol denounced North Korea's nuclear rhetoric. The Taliban signing a deal to get gas and wheat from Russia. Afghanistan officials say the preliminary deal includes the annual purchase of millions of tons of petroleum, 1 million tons of diesel, 500,000 tons of cooking gas, and 2 million tons of wheat. Officials said the imports would start soon and run for a trial period. The development aid that Afghanistan relied on previously was cut last year after the Taliban took over. Wisconsin's gubernatorial race is now the most expensive in the U.S. This month's campaign finance report shows Democratic Governor Tony Evers raising over $4.5 million between July 26th and August 31st. Republican challenger Tim Michels raised over $5.4 million, $5 million of which he contributed himself. Ad Impact Politics says combined, the two have now spent $55 million on their campaigns. Porsche has gone public. The German car maker made its debut on the stock market today with a value of over $72 billion, making it one of the biggest initial public offerings ever in Europe and the second largest in Germany since 1996. Netflix dropping the LGBTQ tag from its series on serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. The streaming giant made the decision after getting backlash from the LGBTQ community. Some complain that tagging Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, creates representation they don't want. Dahmer murdered and dismembered 17 men and boys in Milwaukee between 1978 and 1991. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Partly sunny today. The high near 58 degrees. We'll have some patchy frost tonight. Otherwise, mostly clear with a low around 37. Right now, 47 degrees and mostly cloudy. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 6:42.
All right, I'm looking at the Jim Cantori tweet that went out, And I just think he just makes me sick. I just cannot stand it. Like, you're out there. It's like, imagine, if Jim Cantori was like a firefighter. I mean, he'd be the guy being like, yeah, this is fully engulfed. Watch me go in. Okay, I'm coming from the window upstairs. Looking behind me, the flames and the smoke. And then all of a sudden there's an explosion. He's like, oh, my God. Oh, I can't even believe it. I almost got blown up here. Well, yeah, because you're standing in a burning house. The house is on fire, man.
Right.
And
It's
here
stupid.
he is standing out in the middle of a hurricane with thunder and lightning and winds gusting up over 80 miles an hour, and he's surprised when this happens.
All right, let's go to the northern eye wall, where again, like I said, it'll be interesting to watch here. If Stephanie and I get the chance to share the eye wall, or the eye center, I should say later. Steph, you're in that wall, though.
That was thunder. If you heard the thunder, it sounds like there was a crack of lightning.
Let's go to the northern eye wall, where
Anyway, and he jumps and he walks away like, oh, I can't believe this has happened to me. Really? You can't?
Stupid.
You're so glad that it happened while you were on camera. That's the thing.
Right.
He's loving the fact.
What Christine said almost happened there, where these people who love this stuff so much end up getting really hurt or killed by it.
Yeah.
Had he been struck by lightning, I mean, that would have been game over.
You're right. It would have been his Stingray moment. I mean, that was a freak act. That was a freak act. I almost feel like the what was his name? Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin. I almost feel like his was not as ridiculous as what Jim Cantori is doing.
Right.
Because he's just in the water. Everybody goes swimming with those stupid stingrays.
Right.
People go in, they're walking around, the stingrays are swimming by their feet, but this was a freak accident where the stinger came out and pierced his chest and his heart and killed him. I mean, it was a freak accident. Shouldn't have happened.
Even in the major storm, getting struck by lightning's got to be pretty rare, too. I mean, we've all run around in the storm, right?
Haven't we?
I used to love running in the rain.
Didn't we talk to somebody who was struck by lightning twice?
Leon Etienne.
Leon was struck. Was he twice? Leon. It's unbelievable, right?
That's a real thing. That's not part of his gimmick.
No. And you just don't. But you don't see him out there running around like, look at me during the storm. I'm under a tree. They say not to go under a tree, but look at me. We'll break and come back. But it is what it is. I watch it maybe for the effect of who knows. Maybe I'm waiting for something to happen. By the way, Michael this morning is said when you have very important. When you have Jim Piccola on, ask him if there are any road closures in Florida. So, see what he says. It's 6:45 at WIBX.
The world's largest box lacrosse tournament, the Laxni, is coming to Utica's Adirondack Bank Center September 29th through October 2nd. Cheer on 28 adult teams made up of some of the best box lacrosse players in the world, both pro and current NCAA players. Come support the Utica Yeti, your hometown team. Day and weekend passes are available at the door. $40 for all weekend passes and $15 for the day. The Laxni is coming to the Adirondack Bank Center. Don't miss it.
I'm Marima Smagic Oren, candidate for Oneida County Clerk. I'm running for 2 reasons. The first, background. I'm an independent businesswoman, a real estate broker. But most important, I'm a lawyer. The same lawyer who took the greedy absentee owners of the Obelson Apartments to court and won. The second reason, backbone. I'm the only candidate willing to confront Tony Picenti and the county legislature. I'm the only candidate willing to fight for a full-time, fully staffed Rome DMV. And I'm the only candidate willing to fight for a faster, more customer-friendly Utica DMV. The John E. Creedon Police Benevolent Association, Utica's Men and Women in Blue, back me because I'm experienced. The Nonpartisan Reform Party endorsed me because I'm independent. And the state's largest healthcare workers union gave me their support because I'm qualified. The Friends of Marima Smagic Oren paid for this message because they know I believe in people, not politicians. Please remember, Marima, background and backbone. Thank you.
Montessori Preschool at Notre Dame Elementary School was voted #1 in the Observer Dispatch's Best of the Best. Enrollment for this year is still open, so apply now to reserve a place for your child. Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School is for children 3 to 5 years old and follows the educational principles of Maria Montessori. Our teachers and assistants work one-on-one and in small group instruction to help children develop their potential in an engaging environment, inspiring creativity, better self-discipline, and self-correction and assessment. At Montessori at Notre Dame Elementary School, language, art, science, math, and geography are all part of the curriculum. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom teachers offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process and help children become lifelong learners. Enrollment is still open, so apply now. For more information, call 315-724-5118, extension 35, or visit NotreDameUtica.org. That's NotreDameUtica.org.
Sometimes my inner me wishes it could have a do-over. I mean, I wish I'd traveled more. I wish I'd never cut my bangs. I even wish I hadn't chosen the bank I did.
Well, some do-overs are easier than others. You should make the switch to Adirondack Bank. They're a local bank with friendly people and competitive products. I just opened a hometown checking account. There's no fees or minimum balances, and I even get online banking and mobile banking.
Well, switching to Adirondack Bank really does sound like the do-over I need. Oh, but I still wish I'd never gotten that spring break tattoo.
That one is harder to fix.
Make the switch and open your hometown checking account today. There's a minimum deposit of $25 to open the account. Visit your local branch or online at adkbank.com for more information. Member FDIC.
Employee onboarding?
Automated.
Customer support?
Automated.
What if you could automate all your company's routine operation tasks and do it easily?
Lead management.
Automated.
With Zapier, you can. Zapier is the leader in no-code automation. Connect over 5,000 apps, automate almost any workflow, and streamline your team's performance without hiring a developer and with no coding required. That's right, Zapier's templates make it simple for you to automate anything in minutes, no matter your level of expertise. Zapier eliminates routine tasks and frees your employees to focus on the bigger picture. And with Zapier's advanced security features and annual SOC 2 audits, your data is safe and secure. See why thousands of companies, including Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot, trust Zapier to automate their businesses.
Even complex tasks?
Automated with Zapier.
Try Zapier for free today at zapier.com/radio. That's zapier.com/radio. Zapier.com/radio.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. If you know anyone in Florida, I'm sure you're trying to make contact with them. We should talk to Don Leibel tomorrow. I saw Don is inland, but in the path of the hurricane, which is at as it goes over land, it did lose strength, but just the water, the flooding, the high winds, really rough. And for people who own property down there, I think a friend of mine who has a place down there described it as feeling helpless. You're up here, there's nothing you can do. Who knows what's happening to your property down there? But I assume, Christine, most of those places by code have to be built to be somewhat hurricane-proof, I would think.
Right, they have to be built to theoretically withstand a hurricane. The construction laws are pretty strict.
Pretty strict, yeah.
Category 5, though, right? When it made landfall.
It was Category 5 when it made landfall, and then it went down to 4. And you always hear about the eye of the storm. It was interesting to watch yesterday too.
It's the most peaceful time.
It was not. This was kind of interesting because at least the shot I guess it depends on. It clearly depends on where you are, right? If you end up landing in the eye of the storm, but it was the wind had stopped. It was still cloudy. It had brightened up a lot though, and I think it was Jim Cantori who was actually in the eye of the storm at one point. But then when you look behind him, you saw the storm was coming. So the back wall was about to nail them. And I don't know, which is stronger, the front wall or the back wall? Or are they both
the same?
Both the same, probably.
The other thing too is with the construction guidelines, those are meant to protect against the weather elements, right? They're not necessarily going to protect if a car comes hurtling through.
Right.
Oh, that's a good
hits
point.
your house.
Yeah.
So that, they can withstand the wind, and the windows might be able to withstand the wind, but no window is going to be able to withstand a tree coming through it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When houses are built even up here, now when you put on like we recently had a roof put on, an addition, and they call them, I believe it's the same purpose, but they call them hurricane straps. So they are, it basically, they're metal, it's like a metal sheet, and it connects the roof to the base of the, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a contractor. Whatever they were doing.
And a contractor, please call it.
They were connecting it to the thingy there. I don't know the terminology. All I know is they were like, yeah, we got to put hurricane straps on this thing. But it does. It straps the roof to the rest of the house.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the
That's
hell
funny.
what they call it.
Well, I guess I understood what you were depicting with the hand gestures, especially.
Yeah, the hand gestures help on radio.
Yes,
really
big time.
If you're watching on YouTube Live, then you realize how much of an idiot I really am. But it is. But they call them hurricane straps. I'm assuming that is the reason they call them that.
And you're not an idiot. You're just not a contractor.
I'm not right. I don't. I don't know what it's called. The thingy up there. Scott Petoniak was inducted into the Mohawk Valley Sports Hall of Fame. Right, Utica, Rome, Mohawk Valley Sports Hall of Fame. He posted something here. Apparently, there was a loss in Rome, and I'll read a little bit from his Facebook post. He says, I was 15 years old at the time, feeling numb in a funeral home, trying to come to grips with my father's death from a massive heart attack. I was angry. It was an angry phase of grief at that moment, pissed off at God and the world. It angered me that his dad, had suffered through so much physical pain for so long. I was upset about the verbal abuse he'd been forced to tolerate, the cruel ethnic jokes as a kid, the put-downs because he only had an 8th grade education. I was so confused, so empty. I felt hopeless. I had no idea how I was ever going to fill the void in my soul. And he said, I was about ready to walk out of the funeral home when a gigantic man put his arm around me and guided me into the hallway. That man, Tom Myslinski, better known to everyone in Rome as Coach Miz or Mize. Do you know, Davey? Do you have any idea?
I know who he is.
Okay,
It's Myslinski, right?
Yeah.
Myslinski.
Yeah.
Anyway, proceeded to tell me about how much he enjoyed working with my dad at the Rome Recreation Department during summers home from college. He told me how kind my dad had been to him. The coach then wrapped his enormous arms around me and gave me a huge bear hug. I thought my ribs were going to crack. He told me that my dad, a World War II vet, had to overcome a lot of crap in his life to give me the opportunities he had never had. He said, go make your dad proud.
Wow.
Decades later, I was being inducted into the Rome Sports Hall of Fame, and Coach Mize came up to me and gave me another bear hug. He told me, you did your dad proud, and you did me and Rome proud as well. And he said I had to fight back the tears. I bring this up because Coach Mize died yesterday after a long, courageous battle with cancer. So very sad moment for a lot of people in Rome.
That is really sad. What a great story, though.
And we'll try to talk to Scott at some point here.
Wow.
And, yeah, it is amazing how many people, especially whether it's in the coaching or teaching world, or it might be a minister or a priest, or, there's so many of those bad stories that are out there.
Yeah.
But those are the minority, and there are so many amazing stories about how adults look back on that one or two people that made such a difference in their lives, right?
Absolutely.
And this is a great example of that. Got a break. Christine will have news coming up top of the hour. Fox News as well. We're going to update as the sun rises in Florida. Looking at the aftermath, some still going through some pretty tough weather conditions. But we'll find out what's going on down there in Florida with the hurricane on WIBX.
Asthma symptoms can attack anywhere, like on a city street. Now you can get fast relief anywhere with new improved Primatene Mist, the only FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. So whether you need relief of symptoms at the park or at your kitchen table, Primatene Mist starts working quickly, opening up your airways to restore free breathing. For temporary relief of mild symptoms of intermittent asthma, use Primatene Mist and breathe easy again. Available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens. Use as directed.
Utica Comets, this is Roxanne.
Roxanne, it's almost hockey season. Put on the red light.
What? You just told me not to put on the red light.
No. You gotta put on the red light. Put on the red light. Put on the red light.
Okay, we get it. The season starts October 17th. Can I stop now?
Oh, come on. One more time.
Tickets on sale at uticacomets.com. See you October 17th.
Are you getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD, $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market, $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rates subject to change at any time. See branch or gpofcu.com for full details.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
Truck crash? Choose William Mattar, the largest motor vehicle accident firm in the state. After a crash, an investigation may need to be started immediately. So call now. When you visit WilliamMattar.com, you'll see that motor vehicle accidents are what we do. Truck crash? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444, South State Street, Syracuse. 315-444-4444.
First News with Keeler in the morning.
The author of Accidental Gangster from Rome, New York.
Weekday mornings at 6.
No, I do not like brash, confidential informants, whatever you want to call them.
On WIBX. From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
This is a Fox News alert. Ian is weaker, but is still packing a punch. I'm Dave Anthony. It's down to a tropical storm now.
You wouldn't be able to tell that by where we are down here on the streets in downtown Orlando.
Dave Puglisi is with Fox 35 TV.
Earlier, we saw some blackouts across the city. There are 2.5 million Floridians without power right now. But in addition, Disney World had experienced some flooding, which has been another main key with this storm. There's been flooding everywhere.
Especially where Ian first hit land as a Category 4 hurricane, Cape Coral into Fort Myers.
And we have not even had our sunrise yet, so the devastation, the scope, is not even clear at this point.
Fox Weather's Robert Ray.
Fort Myers just took it on the chin yesterday as the water was rushing through the streets, literally creating white caps, and the wind pushing in so hard that the water from the river just a block away was coming in. We could barely even stand out here. There was downed trees, power lines all over the place, zigzagging through the streets.
As rescue crews go around today, the National Guard is out helping. President Biden will go to FEMA headquarters today. He's promising.
We'll be there to help you clean up and rebuild, to help you get Florida get moving again. And we'll be there at every step of the way.
As Ian keeps moving north, it'll move into Georgia, out into the Atlantic, and then hit South Carolina. Governor Henry McMaster says,
be informed, be prepared, and be safe.
Congress is trying to fund the government by tomorrow night to avert a partial shutdown, and the Senate's expected to pass a bill today. Republican leader Mitch McConnell says,
we'll ensure the Federal Disaster Relief Fund is fully resourced at this critical moment.
Though there is no funding in that bill for Ian's damage in Florida, it does give assistance to flood damage to Kentucky and Jackson, Mississippi, which had a flood-induced water crisis. America's listening to Fox News.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated to your freedom, equality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
With each mortgage-free home, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices of America's heroes. These heroes need your help. That's Gold Star and fallen first responder families with young children, our nation's most catastrophically injured first responders and veterans, and even our homeless service members. Help these heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 7:03. It is Thursday, September 29th. Your news is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. An Oneida County man under arrest after an alleged domestic incident in Lee. The sheriff's office says 37-year-old Jerry Lohr was arrested twice in the same day. The victim was issued an order of protection. Rome police are asking for your help locating a stolen vehicle allegedly taken from someone's driveway at gunpoint. All the information at WIBX950.com. They want you to look in your backyard and your garbage cans. Authorities are looking for both the suspects in an alleged robbery as well as a stolen purse. Police say the purse contained irreplaceable family heirlooms. It was taken from a woman allegedly in the parking lot of the Transfiguration Church in Rome. Photos and the information on what you need to look for are at WIBX950.com. The Utica Zoo remains closed as they await an inspection from the USDA. We are expecting to receive word today on the latest. You can check out WIBX 950 AM or 106.9 FM, as well as our website and app for the latest on that this afternoon. A Central New York high school student is in some serious trouble with the law after being accused of making a threat against the school. Police say a text message was sent saying that there was going to be a shooting that targeted African American students on Monday. While there was no violence, similar threats were reported at other schools in the area. Officials don't believe those threats were sent by the same people. The latest data released by the state shows the spread of COVID-19 is on the rise again in Central New York. The average 7-day infection rate is sitting at 11.61%. At this time last week, the infection rate was 10.43%. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy will be making an appearance in Central New York over the weekend. The Post-Standard is reporting that the California Republican is scheduled to attend a fundraiser for 22nd District Congressional candidate Brandon Williams. A ticket to the luncheon will set you back about $1,000. A new poll is out. It reveals one candidate still has a double-digit lead in the gubernatorial race. The Siena College Research Institute poll says Governor Kathy Hochul has a 17-point advantage over her Republican challenger, Long Island Congressman Lee Zeldin. The governor announcing an additional $50 million to be put toward public safety in New York. Local police departments will receive a total of $30 million for new technologies and body-worn cameras. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Partly sunny with a high today near 58 degrees. Patchy frost tonight. Otherwise mostly clear with a low around 37. More patchy frost on Friday. Sunny skies with a high near 63 and partly cloudy Friday night with a low around 42. The weekend looks sunny but cooler, definitely. Right now, 47 degrees, WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:06. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. 61 for Aaron Judge, and the Yankees almost made history twice last night. Of course, the big news is that Judge hits number 61, tying Roger Maris for the all-time American League home run record. The Yankees did go on to an 8-3 win. Garrett Cole took a perfect game into the sixth inning. That was broken up by a solo home run from Danny Jansen of the Blue Jays. The Yankees do cruise to that 8-3 victory, and history for Aaron Judge. Just unbelievable how humble and gracious he is as one of the best players in the sports world. Eduardo Escobar, a huge night for the Mets, 5 RBIs as the Mets pulled out a 5-4 victory in 10 innings, originally trailing in the game 4-0. Escobar had a 2-run homer, a 2-run single, and a walk-off single in the 10th to win it for the Mets. And the Braves lost last night in extra innings as well, so the Mets now a game up in the National League East. Up next for the Mets is a series in Atlanta against the Braves, but because of Hurricane Ian, there might be some rescheduling that goes on with that 3-game series set to begin tomorrow. Options include shifting tomorrow's game to a matinee or possibly scheduling a split doubleheader on Sunday. The teams could also make up one or more games on Thursday, October 6th, which would be the day after the regular season is set to end. Some football news: the Jets expecting to have starting quarterback Zach Wilson under center this weekend. Wilson tore a meniscus and suffered a bone bruise in a non-contact play in the preseason. He had to undergo arthroscopic knee surgery. New York visits Pittsburgh this coming Sunday. Some preseason hockey underway. The NHL preseason continues tonight with a home-and-home. The first half, the Rangers host the Devils at MSG before the two teams will square off in Newark tomorrow night. And, of course, Syracuse is in action this weekend, looking to move to 5-0. They'll host Wagner on Saturday, a 5 o'clock start.
That'll be on ESPN Plus, so you will be able to get it, but you're going to need to. I think you have to have the ACC network on your cable. I think, right? Is that the deal, Davey?
I'm not too sure. I wonder if the Yes Network would pick that up like they did basketball.
Yeah, you wonder. I don't know the answer to that. A couple things. Also, you have some information on the coach who just passed in Rome.
Well, and the name is very well known. He was a coach for a long time in Rome. His son, of course, was drafted in the NFL, played for several teams, among them the Dallas Cowboys, and he's still an assistant coach, a strength and conditioning coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So some sad news. That name is one of the sports names that you just know and you can't forget in the city of Rome. Obviously, coached for a long time. Son ended up being drafted by the NFL. He played for Tennessee. I think he played for Tennessee in college. That's junior, of course, Tom Myslinski Jr., but senior passing away earlier this week.
And he, who just passed away, was actually on the practice squad back in the 70s for the New York Jets when Joe Namath was quarterback.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and was a great collegiate wrestler, high school wrestler as well. So a big name. A couple of other interesting things to hit here. A lot of questions in baseball in the final week of the season. Will the Mets win the National League East, or will it be the Braves? And as Jeff said, based on the hurricane and rain and all of that, the remnants of that, we might see the final game played, and could be a deciding game played after the last day of the season.
You know what's funny, too, is because I just read an article that said baseball gets rid of game 163. Essentially, they have a tiebreaker system in place that doesn't include playing an extra game. But it's possible they will have a game to be played after the season. It wouldn't be, quote, an extra game. It wouldn't be game 163, but it would come after the regular season. So, well, the regular season for most teams anyway.
So the talk we had yesterday was the home run ball. What would happen if you were able to catch that home run ball? And it happened last night, but it just was. There was a fan who had his arm out, and he needed about another foot on his arm length, or to reach another foot, and he missed it. It ended up going into the Blue Jays bullpen, and was picked up by one of the coaches. So there will not be a big sale for that ball.
Yeah, let Judge just have it. I mean, again, the story of 60 where the fan just hands it over in exchange for a picture is an amazing one. But
and then
kind of fitting that there wasn't some scramble and an auction to determine who gets the ball.
Well, you still have if there's a 62,
That's
that
true.
one breaks the record. So that'll have value as well. I don't know what it'll be estimated at, but it'll be very high. And then one more. This was not last night, but it was the night before when the Mets were playing the Marlins. There was another baseball record. It's the first time it's happened since 1900, where a pitcher was called for 3 balks. Did you see this occur? Tuesday night, The Marlins pitcher Richard Blyer, I believe is how you say his name, in the 8th inning, up 6-3 against the Mets. He was able to cut down the first 2 batters, and then things got ugly. Jeff McNeil reached base with a single. Pete Alonso came to the plate. During Alonso's at bat, Blyer was called for a balk 3 different times, which allowed McNeil to score. It has not happened in a game since 1900. Of course, the Marlins went on to win that game.
How do you make the most of your land?
So it's amazing because the Mets last night, when they said it had never happened. So it's interesting that it hasn't.
According to this, it's saying it happened in 1900.
All right. So the issue is
that might have been a pickup game in somebody's backyard.
Once he starts his motion, he's got to come to rest before he can go forward, even if it's just for a split second. Apparently, the umpires were saying he was not coming to rest. So Ron Darling, during the game last night, was observing the pitcher. He came in relief and said it'd be interesting to see if he's altered his delivery here to avoid this. And the umpire who kept calling him for the balk,
because he's a relief pitcher, so he came back in last night,
was working home plate. And it was funny because Darling called it, I guess as he saw it, he said he has not made an adjustment. That is still a balk. He's not stopping, but they're not calling it.
Yeah.
So it's just so bizarre to see it called 3 times in a row. He does the same exact thing the next night, and there's no call.
Interesting. And it was almost like I called the balk the first time, and then he's like, I can't believe it. He's not the umpire in his head. He hasn't adjusted at all. I'm going to call him again. And then a third time. And then he ended up getting ejected.
Sure. And Mattingly as well.
Yeah. Wild. Interesting little part of that game, something I'd never seen before. Well, something all of us had never seen before, because it's been well over 100 years since it happened. 7:13 coming up. We'll go to Florida. Jim Piccola with an update live from wherever he's at, and we'll get his whole story and his living through the hurricane story coming right up at WIBX.
Are your brakes noisy? Do they vibrate? Is the brake pedal soft? Is your ABS light on? Don't take chances with your brakes. In the Utica area, locally owned Oriskany Garage is going to be your best choice. Quality parts installed by trained and experienced technicians. No tricky upsells, just the work that your car needs done right. All backed by a great no-hassle warranty. Oriskany Garage on Champlain Avenue near Utica College or online at ogtire.com.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV,
you can't be all work and not play.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton. Here at Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we take the term planning seriously. Estate planning is meant to take the stress out of life's uncertainties, such as illness, disability, and death. Traditional planning is critically important, but some situations require special consideration. For instance, if you're a parent with young children, in a blended family, or in an unmarried relationship, you face unique legal challenges. At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we can help navigate those challenges. And while planning ahead is very important, if you have a loved one that's currently in a nursing home or extended care facility, it's not too late to act to protect assets against those expenses. Call us today to find out how to use strategies to protect your assets. My team and I can help you sort through any of these legal issues. I'm Rob Hilton, inviting you to call Hilton Estate and Elder Law for a free consultation.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
A clean, healthy home is more important than ever. We all want to live in a safe environment, free from allergens and harmful bacteria. And at ABC ChemDry, that's what we provide our customers every day. Our green certified cleaning solution, The Natural, uses hot carbonation to safely remove up to 98% of allergens from carpet and upholstery. With our patented cleaning process, we can also remove more than 98% of bacteria from tile, stone, grout, and granite countertops. And if you have pets, our pet urine removal treatment called PERT can eliminate more than 99% of pet urine odors and bacteria. We guarantee we'll get the stains out too. And an ABC ChemDry cleaning can even reduce airborne bacteria in your home by up to 89%. Now that's clean. Protect your family. Trust ABC ChemDry, your healthy home authority. Call us at 315-738-1111 or visit abcchemcleaners.com.
Earn more for every dollar saved with AmeriQ. Open a new 12-month share certificate at 2.53 APY. Save more with your credit union. Get started at ameriq.org/save today. APYs are current as of June 21st and are subject to change without notice. Minimum balance to open is $1,000. Fees may reduce earnings. Withdrawals of principal are subject to early penalties. Insured by NCUA. AmeriQ. For every day. For everything.
Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Installation has been in business for more than 85 years, and nobody does work like Collis. The weather is cooler weather is setting in, and as we enter the fall season, many people probably turning on their heating system for the first time. It could happen tonight when we dip down potentially into the 30s. If you have any trouble with your system or in need of a replacement, you can count on Collis. Remember, what a difference upgrades can make to your insulation and what a difference insulation can make in an upgrade to your bill each and every month, and especially with the bills that are coming this year. Avoid cold floors, drafty rooms, and don't make your heating system work harder than it needs to. Collis can help with that as well. And there are a number of rebates out there that could help you qualify. In fact, they're working with us right now currently because we have a very old furnace. Jeff, you have a very old furnace.
I do.
Knock
on wood. Where's wood around
here? You
here?
got to find some wood, and you got to knock on it and hope you get through another season.
I can't even believe you brought that up.
So we're looking at the potential of a replacement as well. It's Fred F. Collis & Sons, Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Reach out to them today. They're on call 24/7, always ready to service you if you're in need. Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation in Yorkville, Rome, and now in Syracuse.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, let's head out to Florida, where Jim Piccola is vacationing. James, good morning. And any road closures down there? I've been told I had to ask you that.
I'm not sure. Our power's been out since yesterday, like late morning, around like 10:30.
Wow.
So we haven't been able to watch any TV, and I'll be honest with you, even our internet has been very sketchy trying to get stuff through the phones. And so I'm not sure exactly. The water has receded over here on Marco Island, at least where we are.
Okay.
And I do see some emergency vehicles going by and some cars and trucks. But like I said, I'm not really definite on how many roads are closed and what have you.
I know somebody else that's on a cruise that made its way over to Cozumel, and they're hanging there because they can't come back to Florida right now. So it's, anybody who's gone on vacation at this time and you made your way down there. What was it like being, not only being, down there during this, but actually on an island?
Yeah, we were down on Captiva Island. We got there on Saturday, and it was absolutely beautiful through Monday. And
yeah, we're dealing with cell phone issues. I think I have you back, Jim. I don't. Yeah, that is what they're dealing with. So you can imagine cell phone towers that have been affected by the storm. Davey, why don't you try him one? Oh, he called us. Okay.
Get you a number.
Jim, do you have us here? Yeah, that's what we're dealing with people down there right now. Cell phones are up and they're down. So he was out. Imagine what it's like when those high winds are coming through, and you're surrounded by water. Let's see. Davey's going to give him another try here as he rings back through. Jim Piccola was the communications person with the Department of Transportation, New York State's Department of Transportation, and with all the road projects around here. We've, over the years, have been talking a lot with Jim Piccola.
And I think he thought you were serious. He said, I don't have an update on the
No
roads
update on
or the
roads.
conditions. Yeah. Yeah, Jim's.
Okay, Jim. We'll be right with you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Jim's outstanding.
He's back here now. Hi, Jim. We got you back.
Hi, Bill. Sorry about that.
No
like I said,
problem.
I know our internet, even the phones have been sketchy.
Yeah.
The last day here. So, but like I was saying, we were on the island, and we had to be evacuated Tuesday morning. Went to friend's house, Fort Myers, and then that zone actually ended up getting evacuated. So went down to Marco Island to friends down there. Were very kind to offer us a place to stay, and then that area actually got evacuated. But because of where we were and we had access to a second story, we were able to hunker down and stay here for the storm.
Wow. I mean, imagine if you didn't have anywhere to go, you'd end up in one of the places that are turned into shelters, and those are not fun.
No. The shelters, there's many of them, but the accommodations are definitely not that nice.
Yeah.
But safe.
So, Jim, I mean, obviously you deal with, we've dealt with some flooding up here, which has been terrible for homeowners. We've had some nasty winter storms. But have you ever been through anything like this?
No, nothing like this. And to see, like I said, the water rise like it did, the winds, it was amazing. It was just one incredible storm. And like I said, the day before when we were out on the island before the storm, it was absolutely beautiful. And then all of a sudden, it's a 180-degree turn, and it's just unreal. And but like I said, we're very glad that we were safe and we were able to, find shelter and get through this. And now waking up this morning, looking at all the palm trees that are down and debris in the roadways and stuff like that. Hopefully we'll get our power back soon and figure out how we're going to get home.
Yeah, figure out how you're going to get home. That's the other part of this. And I would imagine that one of the things that you end up dealing with is the fact that with the power out, and today you're going to feel it as it gets hot today, the sun will come back out, and without any air conditioning, boy, that can be miserable in Florida.
Oh, yeah. We have a nice breeze where we are right now. It says I'm in the car, so it says 78 degrees. But I think it says it's going to get up into the mid-80s, and I'm sure with the humidity and stuff, it's not going to be that comfortable.
So did you fly down? Are you planning to what are your thoughts on getting home, and what's your timeline look like?
Yeah. We're supposed to come back this Saturday.
Okay.
We booked all the airlines today to how things are with the schedules.
Yeah.
But again, we have no power, and I'm not sure. Usually the airport is in pretty good shape. It didn't show that was in the flood zones.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm sure they're pretty good, but we'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully we can get home soon.
All right, Jim Piccola in Florida. We appreciate the update. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks.
All right, stay safe.
Take care.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
You think about all of the flights that had to be canceled because of the storm. Everybody's trying to rebook those. So you have this mass push for everybody trying to get an airplane ticket, and it becomes very difficult.
We wish Jim the best. That's a tough time to go. Was that a vacation? It's a tough time to go on vacation, have it kind of spoiled like that. But.
Well, and that's the deal. You make your plans, you get down there, and all of a sudden this happens. Craziness. Have you noticed that, and maybe it's bail reform, and we're blaming everything on bail reform, and maybe it's justified in this case. There's been a huge increase in 2022 of stolen vehicles.
So that's not bail reform. That's COVID.
You think that's COVID?
Yeah.
Just because we have all these new things to blame stuff on, and so that's COVID. Got it. And there are states and cities around the country that have been worse than others, that have had it worse than others. One of the things we've seen a lot of, I think around here, is people going through cars, and if you leave your keys in your car, they're going to be taking it for a joyride and doing damage. But ransacking these vehicles, going through vehicles and stealing stuff out of the cars. You've actually had that happen to you.
I did, and I actually, I think I live in a pretty nice neighborhood. It's a nice, quiet area. Yeah. And the funny thing, what's not funny, it's ironic. I had left stupidly my debit card in the car as well. Moron. Hello, moron. Was it my debit card or my credit? Okay, it was my credit card, not my debit card. My debit card is tied to basically,
your banking,
my direct deposit.
Yeah.
And it was the morning of a payday, so I mean it's not much, but everything I was going to get for was, and it wasn't on there. But they took my credit card, which had, and I use it for like home repair type stuff. It had like a balance of $8 and change or $9. It was less than $10. But anytime you steal a credit card, you get hit with a felony charge. So whoever they took my card, they went to. Should I say the name of the business?
And
or
they
no?
tried to use it.
Yeah, I believe they got a couple dollars in gas in it.
Yeah. Okay.
They went to not the Nice and Easy, the Good and Easy.
Okay.
Over on Whitesboro Street there.
Yeah. Okay.
And they used it right on camera. The cop told me we saw who the person was. They were on camera. I think they.
So then they've got their license plate and everything.
I think they purchased a couple dollars in gas with it.
Yeah.
But ended up getting hit with a felony charge, and there was only an available balance of like $8.40 on that card.
Yeah. And the funny part is a credit card will cover you. You're guaranteed after $50.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have guaranteed your $8 loss there.
I was okay with it, though. Knowing that idiot got a felony for that, I loved it.
It's crazy. Nearly 500,000 vehicles have been stolen in the first half of 2022. This is in America.
500,000?
500,000 vehicles. It's a banner year for car thieves. The first half of 2022 saw close to 500,000 vehicles stolen, according to numbers from the National Insurance Crime Bureau. That's a 25% increase from the before the pandemic in 2019. So maybe time on their hands, I don't know. And here are the cities that have the largest increase. In Austin, Texas, 64% increase. In Philadelphia, 109% increase. And Denver holds the record, an increase of 155% between 2019 and today. They say you can protect yourself and your car by practicing good security hygiene. That's what they call it, good security hygiene. Keeping your auto policy up to date, parking in well-lit areas, making sure your doors are locked and secure, and park in a garage whenever possible.
So,
and that will at least lower the chances that your car will be stolen or somebody will go through it and steal stuff out of it.
I'm hoping that somebody steals my car.
You want it? You want it stolen?
I want it gone.
Yeah, I can understand that. And please wreck it while you take it. Don't bring it back with just a couple of scratches and dents.
So, two things. One, I wonder if it's in part because of the vehicle shortage. So there's a high demand for vehicles.
Yeah, and a big demand and a high value on pre-owned vehicles. That might be something to do with it. Yeah, and parts as well.
I'm checking now. I knew it was Whitesboro was one of them. I believe there's a couple police departments, but Whitesboro Police is one who emphasizes this quite a bit. They call it the 9 p.m. routine.
Yeah.
Okay? They share it on Facebook quite often. The 9 p.m. routine, 5 minutes every night, can save you hours, days, weeks, months, or years of heartache. Set your phone alarm for 9 p.m. every night and join us for the 9 p.m. routine. Let's make sure that none of your valuables are visible inside of your home or vehicle.
That's a big thing. And in fact, you want to make sure. I think this is it. I try to leave nothing in the car because if there's something in there that they might look in and say, I wonder what's in that box.
Right.
There might be nothing in it, but it might be worth it to them to break a window and find out if there's something valuable there.
It includes, as I mentioned, the valuables inside your home, but in your car as well. Lock all ground floor doors and windows. Empty the mailbox and retrieve any packages that might be on your porch. And this is the vehicle tip. Remove valuables from your vehicle and lock the door. Remember to close the garage door as well if you park in a garage.
Yeah, and
it's called the 9 p.m. routine.
Think about those ground floor windows. Something to think about. If somebody's standing over you with a knife, Not a fun scene.
No.
And it happens.
Or to
So-
find out you were burglarized because you locked all the doors but left the kitchen window open.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
No idea that was going on downstairs. 7:32 coming up. The Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week. We'll get to that coming up in a second, which has been a successful program. Crime Stoppers on its own is incredibly successful. It allows people to give tips to police without their name ever being a part of it. You're completely 100% anonymous. And, oh, by the way, depending on the crime, if it leads to an arrest, if your tip leads to an arrest, it could mean a cash reward. We'll do the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week coming up in a second. Then we get a little busy. Our free money question of the day from Hobica. Rob Ash is on talking about a new Comets jersey for this year. Pretty cool. And Jimmy Fallon will catch up on everything going on with Jimmy, who is on this radio station noon till 3 every day. 7:32 at WIBX.
I'm Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. Out of Touch Albany passed bail reform despite almost every sheriff in the state opposing it, including myself. This makes us less safe. Corrections officers are in danger because of the HALT Act. And now, new gun restrictions have sadly targeted law-abiding citizens. I will continue to fight these unsafe, unpractical, and even unconstitutional laws. I will also continue to help keep our community safe. Our children are safer in schools because nearly every school district in Oneida County has a trained member of the Sheriff's Office on duty. In Utica and other municipalities, our deputies stand with police to assist them because of an increase in crime. The men and women of the Oneida County Sheriff's Office are making a positive difference. I'm Rob Mashel, and law enforcement is my family. Your safety and their safety matters to me. This November, please vote for me to continue as your Oneida County Sheriff, paid for by the Friends of Rob Mashel.
WIBX First News with Keeler in the morning news time is 7:34. Your news is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. 47 degrees right now. We'll have your full forecast coming up in 90 seconds. Hurricane Ian, now a tropical storm. Ian's maximum sustained winds have dropped to 65 miles per hour. Hurricane warnings along the east and west coast of the Florida Peninsula have been changed to tropical storm warnings. The eye of the storm is now 40 miles southeast of Orlando. Vice President Harris calling for the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Harris made her first visit to the Korean demilitarized zone today, where she said North Korea has a brutal dictatorship, her words. She also added that North Korea has rampant human rights violations and an unlawful weapons program. Harris's trip also saw her visit to Seoul during a time of tension, as North Korea may soon conduct a nuclear test. The Taliban signing a deal to get gas and wheat from Russia. Officials in Afghanistan say the preliminary deal includes the annual purchase of 1 million tons of petroleum, 1 million tons of diesel, 500,000 of cooking gas, and 2 million tons of wheat. Officials say the imports will start soon and run for a trial period. Well, it is now being thought of as the most expensive governor's race in the country. This month's campaign finance reform report shows the Democratic governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, raising over $4.5 million between July 26th and August 31st. Republican challenger Tom Michels raising over $5.4 million, $5 million of which he contributed himself. Ad Impact says combined, the two have spent $55 million on their campaigns. Well, if you'd like to have a Porsche and may only be able to settle for a piece of it, Porsche has gone public. The German car maker making its debut on the stock market today with a value of over $72 billion, making it the biggest initial public offering ever in Europe and the second largest in Germany since 1996. Porsche is owned by Volkswagen. The CFO of Volkswagen called it a great day for Porsche and a great day for Volkswagen. Netflix dropping the LGBTQ tag from its series on serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. The streaming giant made the decision after getting backlash from the LGBTQ community. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Partly sunny today, the high just near 58 degrees. Patchy frost tonight, mostly clear skies with a low around 37. More patchy frost on Friday, otherwise sunny skies. The high near 63 degrees, partly cloudy on Friday night with a low around 42. And the weekend looks sunny but brisk. The high does not get more than in the upper 60s on any day this weekend. Right now, 48 degrees, WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 7:36.
It'll actually feel kind of warm, Christine, because it's going to be in the 50s today.
Right, it's all relative.
Man, I swear, this all began. You know when the switch turned on? It was the very first day of fall.
That night, yeah.
It was that night. It's almost as if, Mother Nature realized, okay, it's fall, time to make things cold. Or at the very least, cooler. Okay, I have an awesome free money question of the day today. And it is worth $106.90 from the Hobika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobika. But also, on top of it, on the line, tickets to Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend, with shows on Friday and Saturday, and 72 Tavern and Grill, a $25 gift card, which is back open at the Adirondack Bank Center. Davey, what caller number you want to run with here this morning? Let's make it something low.
2.
Caller number 2. Second caller through the lines, 315-736-0186. The category is in the news, and you can use a lifeline if you choose, either Manansky or Davey. In the news is the category.
What about Christine?
No, because I can look it up.
She's too good. She's too good.
I'm not too good. I can just look it up.
Thanks, guys.
Caller 2, and it's a great question. Awesome question. We'll do that coming up in a second, so stand by. Kevin James is with the Rome Police Department and on the line right now. Kevin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
We do our Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week. And who are we looking for here this morning?
All right. Today's Wanted Person of the Week is Al Daniels. He's a 44-year-old male. He's about 6 foot tall, 219 pounds. Last known address was in Park Drive Manor. Daniels is wanted for criminal contempt first and criminal obstruction of breathing. These charges stem from a physical domestic that occurred in July of this year.
Okay. And in these cases, these are people who might not show up for court or a court appearance?
Correct.
Yeah.
Usually this one's an arrest warrant, so he hasn't shown up for anything.
Okay.
So usually what happens is they'll show up for something, and then if they do show up at all, and then they don't show up again after that. So
okay.
It adds to our warrant pile.
It adds to the warrant pile, which we're trying to alleviate here this morning. All right,
yes.
So if you have any ideas, you reach out to Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. It's all 100% anonymous, and we'll post the photo and the full story coming up in a few minutes here. Kevin James, Rome PD, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
Rome Police Department's Kevin James. All right, let's do the free money question, and then I'll break. Jeff is in Utica ready to go here. Hello, Jeff. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
You're breaking up a little bit. How you doing over there? All good?
Good.
Okay. All right. Do you want to answer yourself? This is a category called In the News, which means this is a story that's in the news. It might be hard news, might be soft news, but it's in the news. Do you answer it yourself, or do you use a lifeline in Davey or Manansky?
Well, I really want the comedy club tickets.
Okay. All right.
I'll donate the money. Davey's on the money for me.
Okay. So you want Davey to answer?
Yep.
All right. Davey, are you ready?
I'll try.
Okay. All you have to do in this one here is guess. Just guess. Oh, or answer the phone. He's answering the phone now. Hold on. I'll get to him, Kevin.
Bill, right with you, Rob.
Or Jeff. Okay. Are you ready, Davey? All right. Here's your question. From the category in the news, this item from Mark Zuckerberg's childhood, when he was playing Little League Baseball, just sold for $120,000. What's the item? Ready, go.
Baseball bat?
Was it
baseball card?
Was it his baseball bat? You want to go with what, Jeff? You want to take the answer back from Davey?
I do.
I don't know. The answer is baseball card, not bat.
That's what I said.
It is what you said. I think we have to give it to you. I think.
Winning. Wow.
I mean, if you want to take it back from the guy you gave the lifeline to, then I think you should have the opportunity to do it. Absolutely correct. His baseball card. I didn't even know Little League had baseball cards. But apparently, Some parts of the country they do.
I think it's like part of those photo packages.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's just sold for $120,000. Can you believe that? All right, stand by. We will give you a table for 4 for this week's comedy club action. It's a great show this weekend. He loves to kind of have fun with the Italian side. He's Italian, and Rich Francesi is headlining this weekend. Friday night, 2 shows. Saturday night at Fat Cat's Comedy Club at Tony's Pizzeria in Washington Mills. Stand by, Jeff. Davey's going to hook you up.
Perfect.
All right. He'll get the money. He'll get the tickets and a $25 gift card to the 72 Tavern and Grill at the Adirondack Bank Center, which is back open.
So the Lifeline thing, hang on, we got to work this out because usually the way the Lifeline works is you don't use it until you can't answer.
You're right. I mean, technically, he said he's donating the money to Davey, but technically he kind of didn't win. I mean, he had the answer. Davey answered. Davey's answer was bad. So I kind of think we're going to have to overrule there. We'll see what Habaika says. I already know what he'll say. Give me a break. All right, Rob Ash coming right up. Stand by. Quick break. You want me to do now?
Go right ahead.
Okay, let me bring Rob in, and then we'll break so he doesn't have to wait too long. Rob Ash, Utica Comments, good morning.
Good morning.
Did you know that Zuckerberg's Little League baseball card sold for $120,000? Is that criminal or what?
I did not know that, but that's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
What do you think? What do you think we could get for a Rob Ash, either junior hockey or I don't even know what they call it at the 8 and 10-year-old age? Is it mites? Something like mites or something like that?
Yeah, they'd have to pay you to take it.
Listen, hard to believe, but we're coming around to yet another season, Comet season, just around the corner.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting this year and special. I think that time of year, it's definitely when a hockey player looks forward to the fall time way more than the springtime. So for us, it's exciting. I'm sure for others, they're probably not looking at it the same way, but we're definitely the staff and everybody's pretty excited to get going.
So talk about this new special jersey this year.
Yeah, it's so we're actually opening up on Monday night, October 17th, which 35 years ago was the first time that the Utica Devils in 1987 skated on the Odds Ice at Adirondack Bank Center. So for us, it was really special, and we wanted to do a one-year only use of the Utica Devils logo. Obviously, everything remains the same. It's the Utica Comets, and that's going to be our third jersey throughout the year. But obviously, Eric Kwiatek, who our graphic designer is, he rehabbed it, put it all back together for us, and I think it came out, exceptional. The guys are excited. It links us to New Jersey even that much stronger. It's going to be a fun year.
It is. So this is going to be something the players are going to wear all season long.
No, it's like our third jersey. I don't know if you remember. We have our regular Utica Comets home and away jersey, and then about 10 times throughout the 36 home games, we'll wear that Utica retro jersey.
That's really cool.
That is cool, and I imagine they'll be available to fans, and they will be flying off the shelf.
Yeah, there does seem to be an opportunity here for some sales. I could be wrong.
Yeah, we. I guess we're going to find out. Oddly enough, there's supply chain issues. We ordered them back in January, but we're hoping that they won't be there at the beginning of the year. But we'll definitely have them in the store at some point here in the fall. We haven't received clarification exactly when they're coming in, but yeah, we definitely will have some for the fans.
All right, and it is I'm pretty sure I have a Utica Devils jersey at home somewhere that just pull out and wear. I'm not sure even the jersey fits me anymore. That's a shame. That's just terrible. All right, very cool. Anything else that you want to pass along? People should know about the upcoming season.
I think it's going to be fun. We got another great team coming in. It's our 10th anniversary. I think that in and of itself is also special. I mean, it's the 35th anniversary of the AHL in Utica.
Yeah.
10 years.
That's shocking.
For the Comets is just, I think it's special. You know, the fans have been amazing throughout the years. The Clinton Comet ambassadors, you know, the Clinton Comet namesake. I mean, all of it is really, it's just rewarding and fulfilling, I think, for our area. You know, we were all together. You know, Bill, I talked to you 10 years ago in that summer there, talking to you on how to kind of manage, you know, some of the challenges that I was going through at the time. And I just think we've come a long way from there as we look at the city 10 years later.
It is unbelievable that it's been 10 years, and how it has grown and become such a huge part of the fabric of this community. It's really amazing. And then, you know, the hospital's close to getting done. The garage will come around the corner, and unbelievably, Nexus is going to be opening in really just a couple of weeks away, right?
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah.
November 4th, they turn the building. There's going to be odds and ends that they're going to be working on throughout.
Yeah.
But the turn start November 11th, Veterans Weekend. So it's going to be a lot of excitement for the area, a lot of youth hockey teams coming in. Initially, it's booked with youth hockey throughout the winter, and then we transition into lacrosse. And this weekend, we have lacrosse there. But it's going to be a lot of fun with soccer, lacrosse, hockey, all kind of figuring out what, you know, how to even operate. But it's going to be really exciting. It's just a great 10-year anniversary for sure.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, Ross Bartel is saying we're just weeks away from building ice skating rinks, hockey rinks in people's backyards in Rome. Just days away. You never know. It's all depending on Mother Nature. So,
Ross is definitely the godfather of building outdoor hockey rinks. He is one of the best.
No doubt about it. We've seen some pictures, and he even is volunteering. If anybody wants to build a rink in their backyard this year, he'll assist them and get it done for them. So pretty cool. It's a great community, the hockey community around here. Rob, thank you as always. We appreciate it, and go Comets.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks so much.
Take care, Rob.
Rob Esch. Do you need a break, or am I okay to keep rolling here? On the line right now, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Fallon.
We cannot take a break and make the nationally loved and hilarious Jimmy Fallon wake
Internationally loved.
Internationally, yes. There are a couple Canadians who tune in to listen to him.
Well, I hope that suck-up makes you feel a little good this morning.
No, because I know the truth. All you really said is, I'm probably still drunk and I'll pass out, and I won't be there when you come back from break.
Yes, don't take a break. We might lose him.
Napping online,
I might
too.
go down head first on the desk. Listen, I've been a picture of sobriety since leaving Utica last. And I say that no thanks to the people of Utica. I still have drinks coming FedEx in the mail from this crowd.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Only for the late show, though, right? I mean, it's like in between that first show, second show, people, I don't know what it is. People feel good about buying you a drink, but also watching you drink it. I don't understand that.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, you know that movie Selena where the leader of the fan club kills Selena because she likes her so much? Yeah. Those are the Utica comedy fans.
Yeah,
I'm Selena. Right. They're like, what if we just kill him? It'll be great. I don't know. I'm having fun. I love it, though. And the chicken riggies were outstanding, and the Utica greens were great.
Love it. Listen, we have the president calling out for Congress people who have died. I mean, what's going on in this world?
Well, listen, he realizes he's not long for this job, so he's trying to get the lead role in the reboot of The Sixth Sense. Remember the kid who sees dead people? That's going to be Biden. He saw that 39% approval rating. He's like, well, they're going to take somebody older this time around. Haley Joe Osment's like 40, so why don't they take Haley Joe Biden Osment to see dead people? It's bad.
Yeah.
But you know who should be upset, man? Obviously, it's really uncomfortable for the family. But Kamala should be upset, okay? If the president is out there, literally telling people he's Batman, and there's not even a peep out of the White House about the 25th Amendment, she really must be terrible behind closed doors, that no one's even, maybe whispering about this.
Boy, it is funny because that is what you hear all the time, whether you're talking to Republicans or Democrats. It's like, yeah, I know it's bad, but the alternative is we could not go there.
Look, guys, this is how it works. So there's a president, and he's the president. And then under the president, there's a vice president, and the president is the one who's over the vice president. That's how it works.
Got it. Thank you.
time to keep doing what we've been doing, and that time is every day because we got to get going to where we got to go. That whole thing. I love the Kamala stuff.
So these obviously what's going on in Florida is just horrific, and I can't remember. I thought that you had ties to Florida, or I mean, I guess we all do, right? If you're in New York,
yeah. I
everybody
mean,
does.
growing up in the tri-state area, we all know by law at least one person with a plastic-covered couch. You know, one Italian person who moved down to Florida and put plastic over the furniture. That's me. I got a lot of relatives down there. Thankfully, they're doing good, and thankfully, my radio affiliates are doing good. I had floated the idea of like doing a benefit back down in Tampa because I was there in May, but I was told hanging out in Tampa with my comedy crowd is more dangerous than a hurricane, which I do believe is true because they were as crazy as you guys. But yes, moving on.
Yeah, I mean this storm hits hard, but that should be an opportunity for whenever and this is an awful thing to say, but if there's a natural disaster, that almost seems to be always a boost for a president. It gives him the opportunity to come in and save the day, federal funding, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I think his approval ratings in Puerto Rico are through the roof. I mean, just like the tree limbs, they're going right through the roof.
Yes.
Biden's? It's something about Jill calling them all breakfast tacos, really wins support. But no, I think, with whatever's going on in Florida, I mean, the one thing that I actually liked is DeSantis, and Biden spoke. DeSantis said last night on Tucker he's obviously willing to work with anybody who's willing to help the people. Like, they did some adulting. And I think stuff like that is helpful. Like, if there's a silver lining to this, it's that it's the rare opportunity for politicians to demonstrate they can work across the aisle and show some humanity. But it doesn't always benefit them. Like, if you remember Chris Christie, hugged Obama, and that, sunk his presidential aspirations.
You're right.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a reminder that we shouldn't be as angry as we are. Because, you do have to do stuff like this if there's a natural disaster. You do have to work together. You can't just say, I'm not working with them, because we've been calling each other names on Twitter for a year. So in that regard, I thought it was good.
Yeah. I think it reminds me of one of your fans who didn't know you yet over at Fat Cats Comedy Club when you were in town. I said to the woman, you should go in and see one of these shows. And she said, well, who's playing tonight? And I said, Jimmy Fallon. She said, Jimmy Fallon is a liberal. I would never go to see him. So, number one, she's got it screwed up. Number two, I mean, if Jimmy Fallon was there, wouldn't you just peek in the room to see what's going on?
Sure.
No, because he's a liberal. But then she found out it was you. And that changed everything. And I believe I've heard her on your show a couple times calling from up here.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but I mean, again, anyone who hates Jimmy Fallon's politics, he's a liberal as a hostage. He doesn't actually care.
Right.
What he is a goofball, and he wants to drink and lip sync and have fun. But if you remember, he took a beating for having Trump on his show and muffing Trump's hair.
Yeah.
And everyone said, he normalized hate. And it was a genius move by his competitors because they kind of pistol whipped him into doing a serious show.
You're right.
And from that day forward, he's never won again in the ratings. Jimmy Fallon was killing Colbert the first year.
I remember.
Colbert was going to get canceled.
Yeah.
And then when everybody turned into a late night, activist rally, that benefited Colbert because he does the most partisan show.
Yeah.
So, poor Jimmy Fallon. But she would have liked Jimmy Fallon. But honestly, if you think buying me drinks is fun, you could buy him 1,000,000 drinks. He's a disaster.
Yeah, there have been a few bumps on the head. I've kind of wondered what was that all about, right? Okay, listen, I heard the greatest interview on radio, and it was this guy, Jimmy Fallon, talking to William Barr. Wow.
It was good.
I couldn't get out of my car. I was sitting, and that was compelling. And I also find it to be very interesting as you're talking about, I got people telling me that you're a rhino and so what, you were able to dig in and let him sit and just talk. That was an awesome, awesome interview.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it because I thought he was going to have me killed at the end. Because I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
He's a really brilliant guy, and
Yes.
he gives you really honest responses. But you know, when you ask him a question, there's like a 5-second pause where he's thinking and formulating like a very fair and sober assessment. A lot of times he's complimentary of Trump policies, but critical of the guy. You know, and vice versa. But when I asked him at the end of the interview, I said, you know, the biggest criticism of you is you didn't do enough with the Hunter Biden laptop. Instead of pausing for 5 seconds, he paused for like 30 and stared me in the face. And I was like, oh, my body's totally getting found in the Potomac after this. It was horrifying.
I heard that answer too. That was very. He went to Hillary on that. Right? Or went to
Well, what he said was
Donald Trump.
He said he's the Attorney General.
Yeah.
There's an ongoing investigation. The legal process is not one in which he can just take evidence from an investigation and dump it on Twitter or like give it to a news channel. He's like, that's not due process. If someone did that to a Republican, we would lose our minds, you know? And he's right, you know? And he made a bigger point, though. He said, listen, Rudy was sitting on this laptop for 2 years. They waited about a year and a half. They waited till October to use it as like an October surprise, not realizing that the press was going to be so far dug in at that point, they weren't going to let the information upset the apple cart.
Right.
So instead of reporting on it, they reported on a letter claiming it was fake, and that was the end of the story, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, his analysis is great, and I'm glad you caught that. I love him. I think he's the most brilliant guy in all of this, but he's scary. Because he knows too much. Guy's been Attorney General twice. He admitted on the air there was a deep state.
He
And
did.
I went
He
from
did.
hearing there was a deep state to realizing I might have offended a guy who's probably in the deep state. Like, where's my tax? What I needed?
There's a deep state, and I'm the head of it. That's kind of like what I was hearing there. I mean, that was amazing when he said that. He said there is a deep state, but it's far different than I think what's being described on Facebook. But it does exist. You know?
I don't know.
Well, Jimmy's still alive. That tells you something, doesn't it?
They're losing a step. But a good deep state doesn't kill you right away. It would be too obvious.
Okay, you're right. It's like the mob works. Well, there is no mob, right? It's it's not like it used to be. Wow, great stuff. And I know we're going back and forth, but what I'm telling people is sometime after the first of the year, we might see you back up here.
Oh, I'd love to. Come on, man. 100%. I have a lot of weird touring to do in October and November, Vegas and Dallas and Florida and Iowa and Oklahoma. But these are all normal people that won't kill me. So you can bet on me making it back to Utica so you guys can do the honors.
Good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Fallon back on the radio at noon today. Thank you, man.
See you guys. Miss you already.
Have a great day. Thank you so much. There you go, David. Did you get a chance to chat?
Yes, I did for a good 3 minutes.
Yeah, they were. I had to wait to bring him on because Davey was doing his interview.
And
They're buddies.
You'd like to hear that? It will be available in a few moments.
Next. Top of the hour.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Road, W295DI Utica Road, your news, talk, and sports leader, Town Square Media Station.
This is a Fox News alert. Ian is no longer a hurricane, but we're now finding out it was lethal. I'm Dave Anthony.
So while I don't have confirmed numbers, I definitely know the fatalities are in the hundreds.
Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino also just told ABC's Good Morning America there are thousands of people waiting to be rescued.
And we can't access people. That's the problem.
And all the flooding and the damage because Hurricane Ian hit Lee County first. Cape Coral into Fort Myers.
This debris field that I'm walking through right now with garbage cans, mud, palms that were literally projectiles when these hurricane force winds were coming through here yesterday and into the evening.
That's Fox Weather's Robert Ray. He says that area was underwater.
Street after street here full of storm surge water that came up from the bay and the river about 3 blocks behind me and made its way into these streets here, destroying businesses. And now business owners, as daybreak is coming, are starting to come in and take a look.
A lot of streets have been flooded. The bridge to Sanibel Island damaged. A lot of impassable areas in Naples, just to the south. More flooding also expected inland. Areas getting well over a foot of rain. More than 2.5 million people in Florida are without power. Tropical storm Ian keeps moving north toward Daytona Beach, then into Georgia.
And then that area of low pressure going out into the Atlantic. It could be a Category 1 hurricane again before it makes landfall again somewhere along the coast of South Carolina. That is our current projection.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. There is money for disaster relief and a funding bill the Senate's expected to pass today ahead of a Friday night deadline to avoid a partial government shutdown. However,
the measure does not include any hurricane relief for Florida, but Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says, quote, if we need more, we'll have to do it.
Fox's Sean Langell. House Democrats are expected to have enough votes to later overcome Republican no's. They're upset there's not enough money for border security. America's listening to Fox News.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated to your freedom, equality, security, and the promise of this great country. Smith & Wesson, empowering Americans. Learn more at smith-wesson.com.
It's one of the top 5K events in America today, held on the last Sunday in September. The Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk New York City event. That signature event has inspired about 80 other runs, walks, and climbs across our nation. Proceeds from events, including dozens of golf outings and barbecues, support the Foundation's programs. Register for an event in your area, volunteer to start one, and join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget. Donate $11 a month at t2t.org.
Good morning, WIBX. First news with Keeler in the morning news time is 8:03, 48 degrees and partly cloudy skies. We'll have your full forecast coming up in just 2 minutes. Your news is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Well, they want you to look in your backyard and your garbage cans. Authorities are looking for both the suspects in an alleged robbery, but also a stolen purse that police say contained irreplaceable family heirlooms. It was taken from a woman in the parking lot of the Transfiguration Church in Rome earlier this week. Photos and all the information on what you need to look for are at WIBX950.com. Police say if you do find the purse, do not touch it. Call them and let them know so that they can take it in as evidence. The Utica Zoo remains closed as they await an inspection from the USDA. We are expecting to receive an update today on that. Check the station's website for more information, and you can also tune in to WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM later this afternoon for the latest on that. An Oneida County man under arrest after an alleged domestic incident in Lee. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office says 37-year-old Jerry Lohr was arrested twice in the same day. The victim was issued an order of protection. A Central New York high school student in some trouble today with the law after being accused of making a threat against a school. Police say a text message was sent saying there was going to be a shooting that targeted African-American students on Monday. There was no violence, but similar threats were reported at other schools. One school was forced to do remote learning for the day. Officials do not believe all of the text messages were sent by the same person. The student, whose name has not been released, is now facing several charges. The latest data released by the state shows the spread of COVID-19 is on the rise again in Central New York. The 7-day average infection rate sits at 11.61%. At this time last week, the infection rate was 10.43%. Those who want to get themselves immunized against the virus or received an updated booster shot can find a clinic in their area. All that information is at WIBX950.com. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy will reportedly be making an appearance in Central New York this weekend. The Post-Standard is reporting that the California Republican is scheduled to attend a fundraiser for 22nd District Congressional candidate Brandon Williams. A ticket to the event will set you back $1,000. Williams is taking on Democrat Francis Knoll to see who represents the district that covers all of Madison, Onondaga, and Oneida counties, as well as a portion of Oswego counties. Well, a new poll is out, and it shows one candidate in the gubernatorial race still has a double-digit lead. The Siena College Research Institute says Governor Kathy Hochul has a 17-point advantage over her Republican challenger, Long Island Congressman Lee Zeldin. Last month, the governor was ahead by 14 points Hochul is looking to earn a full 4-year term in office after taking over for former Governor Andrew Cuomo last year. Zeldin is attempting to be the first Republican to be elected governor since George Pataki. And the governor says an additional $50 million will be put toward public safety in New York. Local police departments will receive a total of $30 million for new technologies and body-worn cameras. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit them today at clintontractor.net. Partly sunny, the high today near 58 degrees. Patchy frost tonight with clear skies and the low around 37 degrees. Patchy frost on Friday. Sunshine with a high near 63. Partly cloudy Friday night with a low around 42. And Saturday, partly sunny skies with a high near 66. Mostly cloudy Saturday night with a low around 47. Your temperature is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. 48 right now and partly cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM news time is 8:07. Here's Jeff Manaski with sports.
All right, thank you, Christine. 61 for Aaron Judge. He tied the record last night, tying Roger Maris for the most home runs hit in a single season by an American League player. An emotional moment and a great moment. It did occur north of the border in Toronto as the Yankees picked up another victory, beating the Blue Jays last night by a final of 8-3. They almost made history twice last night as Garrett Cole took a perfect game into the sixth inning. That was broken up on a solo home run off the bat of Danny Jensen. The Mets, a game up on the Atlanta Braves in the National League East. The two teams will battle in a 3-game series this weekend, we think. Of course, some games in the series may be delayed or interrupted by rain from Hurricane Ian making its way on land in the United States. There are some concerns that maybe the game will have to be moved to an afternoon contest on Friday or possibly a doubleheader Sunday. Or maybe they wait till after the regular season ends and play a game or two on Thursday of next week. That is almost unheard of. But again, weather permitting.
I just think they just move it up to Flushing. That's what they should do. Play in Flushing.
Yeah, that's fair.
We could set it up.
We could set it up.
Yeah.
They could play at Murnane if they want.
If they'd like to.
We'll take care of that
we
as
could
well.
set that up. Yep. Delutis, wide open, ready to go.
Atlanta lost last night, of course, and the Mets picked up a victory with the bat of Eduardo Escobar, a 2-run homer after the Mets trailed 4-0, a 2-run homer, a 2-run single, and then a walk-off single. And they pitched around him. They pitched around, was it McNeil in front of him to get to Escobar? And he won the game after having already 4 RBIs.
What were they thinking? It's like, okay, listen, he's already done so much tonight. He can't do any more, right? Let's go after him. Stupid. It was inevitable. A big, big, big win for the Mets. Now a game up on the Braves.
The Jets expecting to have their starting quarterback under center for Week 4. Zach Wilson tore a meniscus and suffered a bone bruise in preseason. He had to undergo arthroscopic knee surgery. Hasn't played since. He is expected to get the start this weekend when the Jets visit the Steelers on Sunday.
Coming up, Scott Petoniak is an award-winning journalist, a sports journalist, written several books, knows the Bills, knows Syracuse. We have a lot to talk to him about, but there was a loss in the city of Rome of a legendary coach that actually played a big role in Scott's life, and we'll talk with him coming up in just a second. Stand by. Coming right back, 8:09 at WIBX.
The world's largest box lacrosse tournament, the Laxni, is coming to Utica's Adirondack Bank Center September 29th through October 2nd. Cheer on 28 adult teams made up of some of the best box lacrosse players in the world, both pro and current NCAA players. Come support the Utica Yeti, your hometown team. Day and weekend passes are available at the door. $40 for all weekend passes and $15 for the day. The Laxni is coming to the Adirondack Bank Center. Don't miss it.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hello from Old Forge, your Adirondack backyard. The leaves are changing and fall events are happening. Macaulay Mountain Scenic Chairlift is leaf peeping central with views all the way to Lake Placid. The Adirondack Mountain Bike Festival returns to Macaulay October 1st and 2nd. Guided rides on 30 miles of trails from oh boy to uh-oh. Races, clinics, raffles, food, and live music. Come to Macaulay Mountain for fall fun. Details at oldforgeny.com.
William Mattar, for the win. Insurance companies make more money by paying you less. You've been seriously injured in a car crash, so why should you settle for less money than you deserve? At William Mattar, we've handled thousands of serious injury claims. There are short time deadlines, so call now. Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar, 315-444-4444. Main Street, Williamsville, South State Street, Syracuse.
Hi, this is John Calabrese. Is your company looking to hire qualified, dependable employees but unsure of where to look? Let Express Employment Professionals take on the recruitment and hiring process for you. We're a locally owned, full-service staffing firm. We'll help you find your next star employees. Business decisions come down to time and money, and Express can save you both. We take on finding employees for you so you can focus on meeting your business goals. Find us on the web at expressmohawkvalley.com for details on how to get started.
Are you looking for a great job? Stop searching. ECR International is hiring for assemblers and maintenance technicians. You could be working for the company that actually helped kickstart the world-famous Boilermaker Road Race. Both of the positions that we're currently hiring for offer excellent pay with a full benefits package. Instead of waking up every day dreading work, wake up and have a fulfilling job working for a great local company. Work for ECR International. To find out more, just call Express Employment at 315-790-5723.
For the past 25 years, the Good News Center has been committed to building relationships. Better relationships for marriage, better family relationships, and a better relationship with God while promoting self-change. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director at the Good News Center. Our programs are designed to support you at your most challenging times. Whether it is marriage difficulties, addiction issues, suffering the loss of a loved one, or caring for someone close, we can offer you support. Or strengthen your faith journey by attending one of our spiritual renewal programs, such as a Bible study or Theology Uncorked. Our support programs are available in person or via Zoom. They are mentored by peers, cost nothing, and are confidential. For more information about all of our programs, visit us at thegoodnewscenter.org or call us at 315-735-6210. The Good News Center, building relationships for over 25 years.
Hey, New York Sash is kicking off their bathroom makeover sale where you can get 20% off your dream bath remodeling project. The New York Sash installers can give your bathroom a whole new look in just a day. No mess, no maintenance, no worries with the New York Sash warranty. And 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. New York Sash tub and shower products never mold or mildew, making it easy to clean and maintain, and it won't chip, scratch, or peel. New York Sash also has a complete line of colors, patterns, and accessibility products that can be customized to any bathroom and any budget. The New York Sash bath remodeling solution is affordable, and right now you can get it for 20% off during the bathroom makeover sale. Don't spend another day in that outdated, stained, cracked tub. Call or go online or visit the New York Sash Design Center, located on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And portions of the program brought to you by the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program, Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Today is National Coffee Day. So what better way to celebrate than by going into Daylight Donuts? And here's what you could do. It could be a coffee cup. It could be a mug. You could also go all the way and do a box of coffee. from Daylight Donuts. Celebrate National Coffee Day at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And try their lattes, pumpkin spice. They have over 10 to 15 different flavors of lattes that are delicious. Coffee, espresso, lattes, iced coffee, bagels fresh every day, donuts fresh every day. It's Daylight Donuts on National Coffee Day in New Hartford. National Coffee Day. Without, I've reached the point in my life where I think that without an espresso or coffee or something, I'm either doing that or I'm napping.
Yeah, I kind of hit a wall at some point late morning, and I have to take a nap. So look.
And you're younger than me, so my problem is I don't go to bed. I cannot. I feel like I'm missing out on something if I go to bed at 9 o'clock. I have friends that have done radio for years. They'll go to bed at 8:30 at night.
Yeah, I know.
I cannot do that.
Same thing. I'm the same exact way. I
Yeah,
can't.
too much going on.
So, can I also say, too, I love the coffee. Really, I'm a big coffee fan. Really, there's not too many cups of coffee that you put in front of me that I wouldn't consume. I do love the Seattle's Best there.
It's Daylight.
Daylight's excellent. Big fan. Love the breakfast sandwiches as well. Here's my point, though. We got to have a National Coffee Day for what? People drink it every single day. It's not like, it's Margarita Day. Celebrate with a margarita.
No, there are people that drink margaritas every day.
Well, there are. There absolutely are.
I think there are.
But do you think they celebrate Margarita Day? They celebrate it every single day.
You're right. Every day is National Coffee Day, is what you're saying.
I want to know how much it costs to get like a Keeler in the Morning Day or a Jeff Manaski Day or an Uncle Smitty podcast day or something like that.
By the way, if you're watching on YouTube Live, you just go to YouTube and search for Keeler live stream. It's right up there. And it's important to like it and subscribe because that will help spread the word out there. It's pretty cool. We can do anything on there. We're kind of just getting our feet wet in this whole thing, but it's ours. Quality is really, really good. So feel free to check it out.
And is that the coffee or the live stream?
Both. That's both. Scott Petoniak has has several books out on sports, has an incredible knowledge, is from here, is from Rome, and is on the line right now. Read a very touching piece on his, I believe, Facebook page this morning about a loss for many people in the city of Rome. And Scott is on the line right now. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm not having coffee right now, but I'm having my tea. I get my caffeine from my tea.
Nice.
I'm an unusual journalist because I have many friends in newsrooms and so forth who go through probably several gallons every morning.
I say that I started working in radio in the 80s when there were two prerequisites to being, and I never fell for either one. It was coffee and smoking cigarettes. And the microphone and the studio and all of that, it all smelled like a combination of coffee and cigarettes. That's when newsrooms were smoky.
Yeah.
Back in the old days.
Yeah. I remember those days too. Yeah, that was early in my career where guys would puff away quite a bit.
Well, a lot of that has changed, boy. So you had a very touching piece on Facebook about a personal experience and a great loss for the city of Rome.
Yeah. I was blessed to be at Rome Free Academy at a time when we had a gentleman by the name of Coach Tom Myslinski, and everybody in Rome, he was always Coach Mize, and that's how I will always remember him. And I was one of probably thousands of young men who were influenced by Coach Myslinski, and he was an incredibly tough coach. He coached football for powerhouse teams, at Rome Free Academy back in the 70s and 80s and 90s when they were, traditionally they were among the best program in the state. He also coached wrestling and he coached track and field, specifically the weights and so forth, and had a incredible record of success in sending guys to colleges, including major colleges, and some guys to the NFL. But it went well beyond, as I pointed out in my my tribute to him, it went well beyond what he did, on the field or the track or the wrestling mat. This was one of those people who influenced you as a human being. The lessons he taught you, and for me in particular, I mean, I was, believe me, I was not a very good athlete at all, but I tried, and that's all Coach asks of you, to try to the best of your ability, however limited they might be. But he had a profound influence on me in my life, and I think back, like in my career as a writer, a sports writer, an author, and so forth. So many of these lessons of perseverance and persistence and toughness at times that you needed to have, those were ingrained in me by Coach Mize.
I'm looking at a picture of you with Coach Mize on your Facebook page. It is amazing how we look back in life, and there are those people in our minds that you remember from childhood or growing up in some point of high school. That stand out, that made a difference. There's something that they did that helped guide you to where you are today. It's really incredible.
Yeah, we look back. We look back on coaches and teachers. In particular, I look back in my life, and I was extremely fortunate. And as I had mentioned, the anecdote that I led into in my tribute was that I lost my dad at the age of 15, and this is, when you're 15 years old, it's tough enough to be a 15-year-old guy, right? Trying to figure out the world, and you're undergoing all these changes, and it's just a really, it's an emotionally fraught time as it is. And then to lose a significant figure like that in your life, and to try to understand, this concept of death and loss and so forth, I was in a real bad way.
Yeah.
And Coach Mize comes to the funeral home, and he pulls me into the hallway, and I'll never forget it. And he told me about my dad. My dad had not lived an easy life, had gone through an awful lot of crap in his life. And yet, Coach Mize had worked, for him, summers home from the University of Maryland at the Rome Recreation Department. So he was telling me these good, positive things about my dad that, to boost my spirits. And then, and told me that, hey, life is tough, and your dad was a tough guy, a World War II vet, survived the Great Depression and so forth. He goes, so, you got to go forward, and you got to go try to make him proud.
Yeah.
And I came back all these years later, where I see Coach Mize. I had the great fortune later on to be inducted into the Rome Sports Hall of Fame, and that's when Coach Mize, told me about, that you did a good job, and that meant the world to me. Believe me.
Pretty awesome. And I assume that there are many of people like you, young guys like you out there in Rome, thinking the same way today.
Yeah, I've heard from an awful lot of people that, a lot of us shed a lot of tears here in the last day or two. That was the kind of impact that this man had on our lives, And again, we get back to that, we talk about, we look back on our lives, and, the teachers and coaches, and you know what? A lot of them, we may have thought, we didn't like them at the time. They were too tough on us. They were, they just, it seemed like, give me a break, I can't please you no matter what and then you look back and you go, the light bulb goes off, right? Or the siren goes off at some point in your life, and you say, oh, I get it. I see what he or she was trying to do to me.
Right.
It wasn't about they were against me. No, just the complete opposite. They were so for me in trying to, get the best out of me. So, it's just like that. And this is I can't overstate the loss this is for so many people who are still in Rome or went on to, and left, as I did, and I'm in Rochester now and stuff like that, who are thinking about this today. And you think back and you just say this is an incredible loss. It really is. And, Coach Mize, he was one of the greatest athletes to come out of Rome and one of the greatest coaches. He was the heart and soul of so much. He was such an innovator. He was so ahead of his time. And, again, I just think that there's that ripple effect of the impact of he's had on all these lives.
So I didn't know Coach Mize. However, I believe what he would be saying right now is enough about me. Just do what you do, which is why I have to ask you a couple of sports questions if you're okay with that.
Sure.
And I think he would appreciate that.
Oh yes, he would. He loved talking sports. I'll tell you that.
First of all, congratulations to you on being a part of Baseball Memories and Dreams through the Baseball Hall of Fame. A couple of your essays are actually in the book.
Yeah, that's a big thrill for me. I mean, I love baseball. I love baseball history, and Cooperstown's always been special to me. Again, growing up in Rome, I can remember going with my dad, taking the 45-minute drive down there and going to the Hall of Fame. So this, I get a lot of assignments for their history magazine, which is called Memories and Dreams, and now they put, I guess the best of or whatever through the years compiled in this new book, Baseball Memories and Dreams. Reflections on the National Pastime from the Baseball Hall of Fame. And so I've got essays in there about one that's really germane to what's going on right now. One of my essays is about that memorable summer of 1969 when the M&M boys, Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, were pursuing Babe Ruth's home run record at the time. And obviously with, what happened last night with Aaron Judge tying Roger Maris's American League record, although I think it's also baseball's record because it's the clean record, know.
Yes.
Unlike what Bonds and McGuire and Sosa did, which was chemically enhanced in my mind. But
so glad to hear you. I'm so glad to hear you say that because we all feel the same way here. So.
Yeah. It's just and again, believe me, I understand, guys, that this can't you can't unring the bell. And you can't, you can't undo this, and those are in the record books, and it's not going to change. But I think in any reasonable, rational thinking person knows what happened there was not real.
Right.
I mean, these guys were obviously incredible ball players. I mean, Barry Bonds was, along with Ken Griffey during that time before he started, using the performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, that was the argument. Who was the best player in baseball?
Right.
All-around player. But he made his pact with the devil, as did Mark McGuire, and as did Sammy Sosa, and so be it. So that's one of the essays. There's essays. I did an essay on Satchel Paige's induction into the Hall of Fame and the historical significance of that back in 1971, and how that really, banged open the doors for Negro League players who, were forgotten by history. The Josh Gibsons and Cool Papa Bell and other great players that, never got their just due because of, so yeah, that's been a labor of love to write these historical pieces for the magazine. And I thank Craig Muter from the Baseball Hall of Fame and all the other folks down there for having faith in me, and it was a big thrill to be included with the likes of Peter Gammons and Tim Kirchin and other even John Grisham is in there as well. So
awesome.
that was an honor for sure.
Well, congratulations on that. A couple of other quickies, of course. Your take on the Bills' loss, 11 starters out last week. But your take on where the Bills go from here.
Yeah, it's what's interesting is that they have been the Bills have been among the healthiest teams in the NFL during this run. This revival with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, and I think part of that is attributable to they're very much into analytics and they monitor the number of steps these guys do in practice, this and that. But, part of this is also luck, right, to avoid injuries, and they've got some bad luck going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. I mean, I can't recall. I've been covering the Bills since 1985, and I can't recall, a more serious rash of injuries like, these types of numbers that they're looking at now. And so it's going to be tough, and this is going to be a tough task, going down to Baltimore. I don't know what impact, the weather is going to have with the storm coming up the coast and so forth.
Right.
I mean, is it going to be a muddy field or whatever? I don't know, or is the wind or whatever. But it's not going to be easy going down there and beating a team led by Lamar, Jackson, who obviously is playing for a contract, and he's pretty motivated. So we'll see. But I still have faith as long as they can keep number 17, Josh Allen, healthy.
No doubt.
I always have faith in this team. I mean, even as bad as that was last week,
we almost
he
won.
gave you another one of those types of performances like he did against the Kansas City Chiefs last year, where
I know.
You knew this guy's the best player on the field by far, and did everything in his power. And he bounced that pass and did some things, but still, I mean, he didn't lose the game for them, and so it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be a cakewalk for this team, and you always got to be careful with the preseason predictions, and their roster when healthy, and that's a big when now, right? Is better probably than any team in the NFL, and I think in Josh they have the best player in the NFL right now. Although Patrick Mahomes is pretty close between those two. So we'll see. We got to keep him healthy. That was a little scary when he had to go into the X-ray room after the game.
Yeah, and then finally, near and dear to your heart, the Syracuse Orange, 4-0. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't expect that, but I thought there was an outside chance. It all depended on the quarterback, Eric Schrader. Could they work on his passing mechanics? He's a great runner, big guy, but Syracuse needed to establish some sort of threat in the passing game, and so I think the addition to Dino Baber's staff. Of the two coaches from Virginia, Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator, and Jason Beck, the quarterback's coach, they've really worked in the off season and have, worked on the mechanics and footwork of Garrett Schrader, and they've got a legitimate, passing attack now to complement, their running game. So it's great. They should have a laugher, here homecoming week against a Wagner team that's just overmatched, totally overmatched. And then you get a bye, and then you get into the teeth of the schedule. North Carolina State, Clemson, Notre Dame. But you got to be optimistic. I mean, this is they've won the last 2 weeks. It hasn't been, it hasn't been pretty. But those are games they lose last year.
Absolutely. A good team finds a way to win. And you win ugly. And Dino used an analogy, and I totally agree. It's like the great pitcher. Like, I don't have my fastball today, so I better come up with some other things in order to grind through this. And and they did that. And good teams do that. And so, hopefully they're another team that is dealing with some injury problems, and Syracuse just doesn't have the great depth that Clemson or the powerhouse teams have. So you got to keep your fingers crossed that they can. Obviously, they got to keep numbers. They got to keep their quarterback. He's got to be healthy. And Tucker, to me, I think he's been playing hurt. To be honest with you, and so it seems that way.
Hopefully you get him. You get out to a 30-0 lead or something, and just play the other guys.
I agree.
And that way you'll give.
Oh, I think I just
the heel of and hopefully he comes then out the chute there, and we see the Sean Tucker that we saw before. And you got to heal up Schrader too. He's been taking some too many hits lately.
Well, they're going to have hopefully have an easier game and a week off, so that should be able to do it. Scott Petoniak, thank you so much for taking the time. Speaking about Tom Myslinski and Coach Mize, we appreciate that story and talking sports with us. Thank you.
Well, thanks, guys. It's always great to be back on the hometown airways.
Cool. All right, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great day. Great guy and a great talent. I believe he's written 16 books currently. So currently living in Rochester. Okay.
If you need a break, we can take one.
Okay. Well, let me see if the comptroller has a moment. Good morning, comptroller. Tom DiNapoli. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be with you, and go Bills, go Orange.
Go Bills, go Orange.
Sorry about the loss of Coach Tom. Obviously a great local legend and so well remembered. So that was nice to hear some of that.
Yeah, and a guy, the reporter, the author that we were talking to is Rome native, grew up in Rome, and has done very well for himself. Very similar to another Rome native who might just have become the commissioner of Major League Baseball. So, Rome putting it out there. So
all roads lead to Rome, right?
A story just out that all roads lead to Rome or from Rome. Story just out about debt in New York. New Yorkers, actually, Jeff has the statistics. The numbers are climbing tremendously post-COVID for New Yorkers in terms of personal debt.
Yeah, I mean that's the concern, and given where the economy is headed right now, with a lot of uncertainty and certainly many points going in the wrong direction, we really wanted to do a spotlight on this issue because people need to be mindful of the trends and do whatever they can in terms of their personal finances to try to be making smarter choices.
Yeah.
We don't do as good a job in our state in giving people the tools and the resources to understand, what's broadly called financial education, financial literacy. We also had an audit recently that showed that while there are some efforts in that regard, New York State needs to do a much more coordinated job. But what we really are seeing is that at the beginning of the pandemic and the great disruptions in the economy, there were a lot of supports out there for people, federal relief, a lot of dollars coming in, a pause in terms of issues like, if you're behind on your mortgage, getting an eviction. But, now that from an economic point of view, it's certainly much better than when COVID first hit and the public health emergency is easing, not gone, but certainly easing. Those supports are not there in the same way, and people are very nervous about the economy, the stock market's down, all of that. So what do we see? People are relying more on their credit cards, and you see mortgage rates going up. So certainly if you're going out there for a new mortgage now, the rate is much higher than it was a year ago. So, the profile of New York debt is a little different than other states. We, in our state, student loans, as an example, is more typically the part of our debt. Mortgages and auto loans tend to be lower than when you look at national trends, but credit cards and student loans, we tend to be higher in terms of that being an area of debt for New York. So we hope this report just gets people thinking and talking and recognizing that we have to do all we can to empower people not to fall into an abyss as far as being overly indebted.
And keep in mind, we're looking at energy costs and inflation and everything else. Everything is up.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the energy is going to be a big issue. You got supply issues, some of this emanating from this continued terrible situation with the war in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Inflation has not been tamed. It's perhaps been somewhat, it's not escalating, but it's certainly not going down at the rate that had been hoped for, and the expectations that the Feds will continue to be very aggressive as far as raising rates. So when they raise rates, that means the cost of borrowing goes up on that end, and so we need to be very mindful. If we have a hard winter, the kind of cost people are going to pay for electricity, for gas, and so on.
Yeah.
Gasoline, which has been moderating, part of that is the gas tax holiday that the state has had and most of our counties have had, but that expires at the end of the year as well. So you could see gasoline prices start to go up again, and that obviously going to hit people very directly.
Yep. Jeff,
can you talk about when you mention the debt and it's over $50,000 per capita? Is that exclusively credit card debt, or does that factor in things like I have payments on my car, I have a house payment, things like that?
That's a broad definition of household debt. So that would include everything.
Yeah,
so it would be car loans, it would be mortgages, it would be credit cards, it would be student loans. That would be the total debt burden.
Interestingly, it is we are not at the top of the ladder here, and it's actually less than the national average.
Yeah, I mean, that's, don't forget, New York is also, on many measures, a wealthier state. It's high, more higher cost of living here anyway, so that may be part of it. But we're not, look, the reality is we're not so far off from our peers in terms of the larger states, in terms of these numbers. So, it's some of this becomes like rounding errors. I think the basic message is debt is going in the wrong direction, and, as we've seen when we had the last big economic upheaval with the Great Recession, this is where people often get in, over their heads on debt, and sometimes it's very hard for folks to come out from that, and especially if you are in a weaker financial position going into a tough economic time, it only gets worse. So the kind of disruptions that could be there potentially. One of the counters to this, not in the debt report, we know that employment is still going up, right? Jobs are still being added. So you're not seeing an issue in terms of people losing their jobs. But again, this is where it's tied to the whole economy. If we start seeing the job growth, or really the regrowth from when we had lost so many jobs with COVID-19, if that slows or goes in a negative direction, just think if your debt burden is growing and God forbid you get laid off, what's going to happen then? So we really have to be on top of this and reminding people to be as careful as possible and provide whatever supports at the minimum in terms of guidance and counseling so people don't fall into this trap.
Two more. Let's go to Christine.
Quick question. So, first of all, we're seeing the recession along with the Great Resignation. So how much of this is going to lead to, it just seems people don't care anymore about their financial security, or a lot of people don't care about their financial security or about wealth in general. Do you expect this to lead to a rash of bankruptcies in the state?
We certainly hope not. I think people do care, but I think people often haven't had the kind of information or education, whatever the right way to say it is, about managing money. We don't do as good a job of that. Even, you go to, in the schools, and I know there have been some efforts to do that, and some of our schools actually are very good at a very young age of giving the school kids an understanding of financial literacy, for so many different labels for some of these things that we do. But as a broad concept across our society, we don't do a good job of that. And, what is the instant gratification, right? Is, if I got some room on balance on my credit card, let me go for it. Well, we were in a sense spoiled by some of the supports that came in response to the COVID close down, but those supports are not there in the same way. And people don't want to get themselves underwater. They really have to be careful. And I mean, to your point, we actually don't know where this economy is headed because, there are some indicators that say, hey, it's a recession. Maybe it's already a recession. But there are other indicators. People are still spending money. That's why we have this concern about debt. Jobs are still growing. That would be counter to a recessionary time. But if it's going to be a recession, how deep, how painful, how long, we don't know any of this. So it's a time to be cautious with your personal finances. Same is true for government. The inflation is affecting government spending as well. So we're in a pretty good position right now as far as the state budget, but we're already projecting budget gaps going into next year, and that could only get worse if it really is a deep recession.
Talking to Tom DiNapoli, New York State Comptroller, I always like to go with you a bit with education. And the same thing holds true. Obviously, schools right now are in a good place with money, but this is a temporary fix. Sooner or later, this money's going to dry up. And combine that with it costs more money to transport kids, more money to heat the schools, et cetera, et cetera. What are you predicting for schools 3 years down the road?
Well, there's no doubt in overall for the state, the federal money is being spent down and money that went to the schools as well. But in this year's budget, you saw a strong commitment by the legislature and the governor to fully fund what we call foundation aid, which has been a battle going on for a long time. My view would be that will continue to be a priority. I mean, I think the issue for the state is going to be if we have a budget gap, where will you do the economies? Where will you cut spending to save money? Or the other debate that goes on very often in New York, as you well know, is, well, I don't want to cut because I don't want people to be mad at us if we cut. We're going to raise taxes. You reach a certain saturation point on taxes as well. So I think the battle will be if we have a gap that grows, if a recession, in fact, kicks in, and we have to choose. My sense is, based on the long history of how New York operates, probably school funding will be one of the last areas that will be cut back on, but the kind of increases that we've seen, that probably isn't going to happen. So school districts need to be concerned. I don't think they have to freak out that suddenly they're going to be going backwards on state aid. But the growth trend that we've had, don't expect that to continue.
A lot of unknown out there.
Well, that's the problem. You know what? Just when we thought we figured it out, we have huge uncertainty, a lot that you can't predict. But be as conservative as possible, prepare for the worst, and hope that it won't be that bad.
Comptroller Tom DiNapoli, thank you for the time. Let's do it again.
You bet. Thanks for your time. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks so much. It's 8:45. We'll break here and come back and wrap up this Thursday morning. Tomorrow morning in studio, we'll have the Fat Cats Comedy Club comedian, Rich Francesi. Davey, caller number 2, chance to win a 4-top, 4 tickets to any of the shows this weekend, Friday or the 2 shows on Saturday. Caller number 2, 315-736-0186. Chance for you to win right now. And your home begins at Adirondack Bank. Just talking about those mortgages, whether it's your first home or a refinance. Adirondack Bank has the product that will suit your needs. Their team of professional and dedicated staff can help you choose the product that is perfect for you. Fixed conventional mortgages, construction mortgages, FHA, VA, second home, investment property, camp financing program, USDA rural housing loans, all there tailored to your needs at Adirondack Bank. Begin online, adkbank.com. Your dreams begin at Adirondack Bank, the mortgage that is perfect for you. A local bank, local decisions, Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
I'm Marima Smagic-Oren, candidate for Oneida County Clerk. The American dream is my American reality. I came to the United States when I was 4 years old, worked hard, and became a citizen the right way. My first home was on Brinkerhoff Ave in Cornhill. My first school was Thomas Jefferson Elementary in North Utica. I graduated from Proctor High School when I was 16, went to Albany Law School, and became a lawyer at 23. I became a lawyer because I knew that as an attorney, I could handle anything that was thrown at me. I know that as county clerk, I can handle anything that's thrown at you. I'll fight for a full-time DMV in Rome. I'll work for a better DMV in Utica. I'll put people over politics. I'll build a better Oneida County Clerk's office. That's why the Friends of Marima Smagic-Oren paid for this message. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Federal Reserve recent announcements is putting the country on course for a deep recession. That means wild swings in the markets and high inflation will continue to put your retirement savings at risk. Protect the money you worked so hard to save for retirement by investing in gold. Let Bishop Gold Group show you how tangible gold investments can help secure your future. Dial pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
Hey, business owners, give yourself some credit. If you employ workers in recovery, you can qualify for a $2,000 tax credit. Employing people recovering from substance use or other addictions gives them hope and confidence, purpose. So give yourself some credit. Learn about the recovery-friendly workplace tax credit at oasas.ny.gov. That's oasis.ny.gov. The New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports. Here for you every step of the way.
Are your brakes noisy? Do they vibrate? Is the brake pedal soft? Is your ABS light on? Don't take chances with your brakes. In the Utica area, locally owned Oriskany Garage is going to be your best choice. Quality parts installed by trained and experienced technicians. No tricky upsells, just the work that your car needs done right. All backed by a great no-hassle warranty. Oriskany Garage on Champlin Avenue near Utica College or online at ogtire.com.
Are you getting a high return on your money in the bank? If not, then bring it over to GPO Federal Credit Union. At GPO, our savings rates are high because we're a credit union and our interest is in our members. You'll fall in love with our rates, 2.40% APY for a 5-year term share certificate, or keep your money liquid with GPO's money market share savings at 0.70% APY. Start building your savings today. GPO has savings products for all generations, from kids' cash savings for youth to retirement accounts for your future. Stop on in to any GPO branch and open your high-interest savings account today to start earning a higher return on your money. CD $1,000 minimum deposit. Money market $2,000 minimum deposit. NCUA insured. Penalty for early withdrawal on term share certificates. Membership eligibility required. Rates subject to change at any time. See branch or gpofcu.com for full details.
Adirondack Home Furniture now carries Smith Brothers Furniture. Smith Brothers has been creating customized living room furniture since 1925. Known for its high-quality, solid built, top-of-the-line pieces. Made in America with modern technology. Smith Brothers is a leader in the furniture industry with their award-winning line of upholstered furniture. They have built a reputation for their value and design leadership with furniture of the finest quality. And the people at Adirondack Home Furniture would love you to come in and browse their extensive inventory and see for yourself. Smith Brothers, now available at Adirondack Home Furniture. Stop in today. Adirondack Home Furniture, located in the Riverside Center, North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams. Smith Brothers and Adirondack Home Furniture. Call 315-738-7817.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I want to give an opportunity for Tom Bailey to come in. He's with the Charity Motor Club, and they're having a fall cruise that is coming up that's going to have a lineup of vehicles that will, if you're into these car shows, even if you're not, they're going to have a display that will blow your mind. Todd, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, how much can we say about this car collection? I know this is a private car collection you're going to be showing here, right?
Yeah, so that's part of the day. We'll begin the day at the collection with some coffee and donuts, etc., and then ultimately it's called the Fall Cruise. And so we will get together and have a driver's meeting and then go ahead and take a lovely scenic tour out to the Oxbow Inn, and then ultimately end up back at the collection for lunch. And the best part of this, really, I think, is that this is all for charity, and not just one particular charity, but 12 charities that are all local to the Mohawk Valley and tend to be low overhead charities. So the impact being made by just participating is really significant, and you don't have to have necessarily a supercar to attend. It's really for anybody that has an inclination towards maybe checking out the history of cars, or maybe you like some of the modern stuff too, and there'll be plenty of that. But if I may, I'd also like to mention to keep those folks, our friends and family down in the Cape Coral, Florida region in our minds. We've decided to make a contribution to the Red Cross from the proceeds for those who've been displaced down there. My mother was down there yesterday, and it's been a harrowing 24 hours, to say the least.
Yeah, boy, looking at the visuals, and it just seems like one of the worst hurricanes we've seen on TV. Give us just the details if somebody wants to get involved. And, of course, Alan Rosenblum's collection is a part of this. That's a huge deal for people around here, if you know that name. But how can people show up and be involved?
Yeah, so you can find an opportunity to register at charitymotorclub.com.
Charitymotorclub.com. And you guys,
pretty easy.
Your organization just gives to charity, using these shows to raise money, and you give to charity.
Yes, 100% of the proceeds. So, we've got some expenses like food and such, but that's the unique feature of our organization is that, in a lot of cases, if you make a contribution, you may expect 10% or so of your funds to go where they need to. But all of our board members are volunteers, and we're really sincerely interested in signing as many large checks as we can possibly sign to the organizations we support.
Okay, man. Thank you. Todd Bailey, we appreciate it.
Well, I'm on the website,
Thanks
by
for
the
having
way.
me, Bill.
Some of these cars,
Thanks so
man,
much.
you've got to go see these.
It is unbelievable. And the Rosenblum collection is a local personal collection that it'll blow your mind. John Decker, we'll wrap up with John here. He is the chief White House correspondent with Great TV. Hello, John. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well today, Bill.
So it looks like President Trump didn't end up having to testify in New York after all, right?
What are you specifically referring to? Are you referring to the?
I believe there was a date on Friday that was was being negotiated, but the hurricane has completely gotten in the way here. So sorry.
Okay, yeah. Well, as you know, as it relates to the civil case that's been brought by the New York State Attorney General, he has testified already. There was a sworn deposition that was taken of the former president, and during that sworn deposition, if you may recall, he invoked his Fifth Amendment constitutional rights over 400 times during that sworn deposition. And we've spoken about this before. In a civil case, there can be a negative inference that a jury can assume based upon an individual invoking their Fifth Amendment rights. That is not true as it relates to a criminal case.
What is, first of all, the hurricane in Florida, obviously, just devastation down there as the sun finally coming up to look at all of the damage. It is brutal down there.
Terrible.
What's your take on McConnell now backing the Electoral Count Act?
Well, I think that guarantees passage in the U.S. Senate. It already had over 10 Republican co-sponsors on this bipartisan legislation. So with McConnell's support, he is the leader of the Republicans in the Senate, you will likely have a filibuster-proof majority to move this legislation forward. It passed in committee 14-1. The one vote against the passage of this particular piece of legislation was Ted Cruz of Texas. As you know, a similar bill, not exact, but a similar bill has already passed the House of Representatives. So I think you're going to see a reconciliation of these two pieces of legislation. Maybe the House will simply pass what the Senate passes and get it to President Biden's desk for his signature. It will remove what we see as take place in January of 2021, which is, you saw it. President Trump wanted his vice president to not certify the results of the presidential election. Henceforth, with both pieces of legislation, the vice president will be a ceremonial role as it relates to the certification of the electoral counting of the votes.
And the President Biden working on this this conference on hunger and nutrition, but it ends up getting somewhat overshadowed when he's calling for a congressperson who has passed away.
Yeah, major gaffe. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't think the conference on food insecurity would have gotten that much attention nationally had it not been for Biden's gaffe. And it also was made worse by the way that the White House press secretary dealt with questions concerning this gaffe. The president giving a shout out to a congresswoman who tragically was killed in an auto accident in August. And, if you've seen the video, it's painful to watch. I've seen these types of videos before. I've seen Joe Biden, you may recall this, at a campaign event asking a state senator to stand up,
and he's
acknowledged, and that person was wheelchair bound. That's another painful gap.
I almost
Joe Biden.
Yeah, I almost feel like this is not old age Joe Biden. This is just Joe Biden because he has done these things.
I agree with you.
Through his career.
I agree with you. Yeah, he's not. Look, the guy's not sharp. Maybe he's less sharp than he was. But the guy's not sharp to begin with. And this is Joe Biden being Joe Biden. I agree with you. And it sounds to me, if you watch the actual calling out, it seems like he's reading off a prompter. Ticking off names or reading off prepared remarks. I think a staffer made this mistake. And if I was the White House press secretary, I'd throw that staffer under the bus to protect the president. But that's not what happened yesterday.
That's a good point. The previous 98 gaffes were Joe's fault, but this one was a staffer.
John, as always,
that's a good point.
We appreciate it. We'll do it again next week. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Have a great
good
week.
one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. John Decker, Chief White House Correspondent with Gray TV.
I'm Mary Finnegan, and I'm running for Oneida County Clerk. I'm the youngest of 7, and we still live locally. My dad was a World War II veteran, and my 95-year-old mom remains the backbone of our family. As a single mom working 2 jobs, I decided to run for public office and kept the job of town clerk in Whitestown for the last 17 years. Now I want to take that experience and serve the people of Oneida County. In Whitestown, I pushed to modernize the town offices and submitted and won a grant that brought our records department into the 21st century. All of this, and we still kept the public's information safe. If you elect me clerk, I'll do the same for Oneida County. I also understand the importance of customer service, working well with others, and recognizing people's strengths. If elected, the DMV will be my top priority. Designated lines, DMV navigators, and good old-fashioned customer service is where I'll begin on day 1. If you need a county clerk who can hit the ground running on day 1, then I am the right person for the job. I'm Mary Finnegan, and I would so appreciate your vote this November for Oneida County Clerk, paid for by the Friends of Mary Finnegan.
From the Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield Studio. WIBX 950 Utica Rome. W295DI Utica Rome. Your news, talk, and sports leader. Town Square Media Station.
The world's largest box lacrosse tournament, the Laxni, is coming to Utica's Adirondack Bank Center September 29th through October 2nd. Cheer on 28 adult teams made up of some of the best box lacrosse players in the world, both pro and current NCAA players. Come support the Utica Yeti, your hometown team. Day and weekend passes are available at the door. $40 for all weekend passes and $15 for the day. The Laxni is coming to the Adirondack Bank Center. Don't miss it.
Now, he also says there are about 2 million people without power in Florida. And Lee and Charlotte counties are pretty much off the grid, and the reconnections there are
really going to likely have to be rebuilding of that infrastructure. And so there are linemen, there are crews that are on their way down right now.
The storm is now no longer a hurricane. It's a tropical storm, Ian, moving north as it heads toward Georgia and then South Carolina. North Korea has done it again, firing off 2 more missiles, according to South Korea, and a 4th test this week on pace for a record year. Hours after Vice President Harris visited South Korea, going to the demilitarized zone. The North remains a nuclear threat.
I cannot state enough that the commitment of the United States to the defense of the Republic of Korea is ironclad.
America's listening to Fox News.
From the very beginning, and every workday since, at every shift and every individual effort, we carry a common purpose, a common cause. It's a duty we proudly honor, knowing behind every product we build is your faith in us, dedicated to the craft of gun making, dedicated